Yeah, we designated spitters live every week. Live, designated homie, cause we spit heat. We designated spitters, Francis and Pete. Yes, talking Yankee baseball, hip hop for the streets. Yup, we designated. Yup, we innovative. Yup, we designated. Spitters time that you know. Yup, we designated. Yup, we innovative. Yup, we designated. Spitters, let's start the show.
What is going on, everybody? Fresh to death out the cornfields of Iowa. It is me, the Simonetti Source, and of course, the great co-host, the one, the only, @1 Francis Lee. Follow Francis Lee. Your followers are lost in the cornfield maze. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Listen, we should have had a digital, like, something. We should have digitized something to have us walk out of cornfields today, since everybody's so infatuated with the corn. Even our manager is so infatuated with the corn. We should have just started. We should have just started it out, like, us coming out of the cornfield, even though it wouldn't have been as pleasant as, the guys last night.
Hey, man, kindness corns. That's all it's about. But matter of fact, it's funny you said that. Did you see Ozzie Guillen's Jr.'s little thing of him shirtless coming out of the cornfield?
It's so funny to bring that up, because I saw it and I already forgot about it.
Yeah, yo, that was classic. That was hilarious, man. I gotta laugh out of me. We always gotta show love over there to the Guillens.
That's a fact. Being Guillen. If you guys ain't listening to that podcast yet, you need to start.
I brought up some points from the podcast. I actually listened to it today, and I brought up some points from the man Ozzy that I'm gonna get to later for us. That we're gonna talk about the cornfield game. We're gonna talk about the cornfield game, the children of the corn game. We're gonna talk about that one. But Ozzy made some good points, so I'll bring those up a little later. But man, it is what it is, bro. How you doing?
Chilling, man. At the end of the day, man, we still here. We living life. I'm still in Cincinnati.
Still living La Vida Loca,
Still living La Vida Loca, man. I'm out here. But yeah, we doing good, man. I wish I would have been in a completely different kind of mood if the cornfield game finished a little bit differently. But we good, they can still win the series, right?
Around we're tipping caps now to people and shit like that. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, you see, if you know,
I tip Ugats. You Italians know what I mean. We tip Ugats over here.
I strategically am not wearing a cap today, just so that y'all know the type of energy we are. Designated spitters is not tipping their cap to
no
nobody.
Caps.
If that's what you came here for, is no cap. This is the no cap.
No
this
caps
is
episode.
The no cap episode. We're not doing that.
Episode.
Sorry.
Nah, man, it's like
sorry.
My look. When I'm managing a game, or when I watch a game, everybody else to me, I'm Tony Montana, and everybody else are the cockroaches. We better you cockroaches. That's what it is. That's my mindset. When we on the field, my club is out there going to war. You better believe I got the battle axe in hand, ready to go. I don't have no tip of the cap. I don't have no pat on the ass. Fuck that. Nah, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Listen, I love a lot of players. Tell people all the time, I'm a baseball fan. I love baseball. And there's a lot of players in this game that I love, and I will root for until the moment that you're playing against the New York Yankees.
Damn right.
In which case, I don't care what happens to you in that moment. Like, I hope you strike out 5 times. Yep. Like, literally, right. 5 times. 5 times on 15 pitches. Like,
yep.
I don't care.
Fam, before we jump into the Children of the Corn game, we had an amazing interview that you guys have to check out. Our good friend, Dan Federico. Dan, you hearing this, fam? Much love. We appreciate you. You as real as it comes, and we appreciate that, man. You guys are going to enjoy this interview, because I tell you what, man, when the designated spitters have a chance to really gel with somebody, it is a wonderful thing, and you're going to see that interview you're about to watch. So, again, guys, this is the Designated Spitters, your favorite team right here, with the one, the only, Dan Federico. What is up, everybody? The Designated Spitters here with our guest today, Dan Federico. Dan, what's going on?
What's going on, fellas? Thanks for having me on.
Dan, the first thing I got to jump out there and tell you, man, because I do it with all the Italians that come on here. We got the Italian. How do you feel about this Italian revolution that the Yankees are going through right now? Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, it's beautiful. You know what? I was at the Yankee game on Friday, and I loved. Or no, wait, what's today? No, I was there sometime last week against the Mariners, and I love seeing the Italian flags out there with Rizzo, Gallo. I mean, there were multiple fans out there waving Italian flags, so it was dope to see.
I love it. You think Rizzo or Gallo are a veal kind of guy? I see veal with them.
I think
see
veal.
a veal
I would
parmesan.
say veal. Maybe veal. Yeah, I could see that. Maybe a little bolognese. I don't know.
A little bolognese. It's hard to make a good veal though. It's not the easiest meat in the world to cook.
But you know what? Chicago, good some Italian food. Texas, I don't know, but at least they're in New York now. Got some good home cooking,
They should be good to go. So yesterday's game was a bit of a marathon, man. An ugly game, probably one that you don't ever expect against a team like the Royals, but we came out on top. We got the victory. We saw one of the things that I want to kind of pinpoint, especially going forward with these Yankees right now, is the relief corp at the end of the games. So we got Green been struggling a little bit. Chapman, we know what's going on with him. Lowe is being used a ton. We all love him, but he's being used a lot. Do you think that with all the starting pitching coming back to the Yankees, that we're going to see potentially a Luis Gil, a Severino potentially, Herman, as a guy that could really help at the back end of the Yankees bullpen?
You know what? I do like Herman in that role. I always thought, he's obviously had some success as a starter, but I always thought he was best as that swing man, give you 2-3 innings out of the bullpen. I thought that's where he worked best. I know there are some reports out there about Severino that he may not be able to be fully stretched out for the rest of the season. So he can be somebody who's kind of looked on as an opener and then, get him for 2-3 innings again, then piggyback with a Herman, depending on where Kluber's at, somebody like that. A lot of pitchers are coming back. I think there's going to be a lot of help in that bullpen. Gil's another one who, he's looked fantastic as a starter, but you could always transition him in the bullpen for the rest of the season. I think he'd be a great weapon there as well. You're right. The bullpen has had some issues, especially with the big guys. Britton, I don't know what's going on with him. Obviously, Green's been up and down, Chapman dealing with his issues. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of reinforcements coming soon. And yeah, I think it's going to end up being, almost a strength for them.
Yeah. Piggybacking off the bullpen question, like you said, Britton hasn't looked like Britton. Chapman has struggled mightily. And we've even seen Chad Green kind of like revert to some of those struggles we saw a couple years back. Out of those three, who's the one who worries you the most, and who's the one who you worry the least about?
I think Britton's got to be the biggest worry. He's locked into contract, and he just hasn't looked effective. I know he's coming back from injury issues, but I've never seen the consistency out of him really since he's been on the Yankees in general. I don't know. I've never really been the biggest fan of his in terms of on the field. Obviously, I'm not trying to talk about him anything but baseball, but he's just somebody who worries me in terms of, I don't know how reliable he is. I just don't see it in him. Most positive, that trio has been up and down. I want to say Green. His track record with the Yankees speaks for itself. He's done multiple different roles. He's been opener, even a full-time starter. He's really ascended into a reliever, almost a Dellin Betances 2.0, where he's been able to, really lock down the end of the game. So I feel like I have the most faith in him. I think he's just kind of going through a blip right now. But yeah, I think Britton, out of all three of them, in terms of high upside or worry, by far the biggest worry, I think, for me.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that question. I think Britton is the guy that definitely concerns me the most. Control has never been a strong point for him, but he just looks like he's really, really off. Something just seems to be off there, and there's still some hard contact hit on him. I know there's a couple of games he got in trouble and got some good ground balls to get out of him, but you're kind of biting your nails every time he comes in at this point. So with an outlook of the ball club, so having an understanding of what this team looks like, what they look like going forward, one of the things that me and Francis talked about a lot is we have so many young arms. We've seen Steven Ridings come up just kind of out of nowhere, right? And all these other guys, they have all these Luis Medinas, Luis Gil, all these guys that could potentially maybe end up helping out in the bullpen, as we've seen guys like Green, like Loaizaga go from a starter to a relief pitcher. In the offseason coming up, looking forward to this team, is it best for the Yankees to see if there's a way to move on from a guy like Britton, who you owe $13 million, a guy like Chapman, who you owe $18 million next year, all that money for these two guys, when you have a ton of options? You could pick from what you want to do. Albert Abreu's looked very good. Is that a possibility that you see the Yankees could actually explore this offseason?
I've been thinking about that for a while. And like you said, Green, Loaizaga, two guys who have gone starters, transition to bullpen, and have been extremely good. I think we could all agree Loaizaga looks like a future closer easily for this team. Yeah. I always am on the side of, I wouldn't invest too much in the bullpen. I feel like could be so much turnover. Even somebody like Nestor Cortez could come in and put up valuable innings, next year, let's say when he's out of the rotation, put him in the bullpen. I think that would be the best option for them, especially a team with this roster crunch and the payroll. They have a lot of 40-man roster moves. And then, again, like I said, with the payroll, Chapman, Britton, they've had success in the past, even Chapman as recently as this year. But I think it would be time to, invest in these guys, maybe move a heel, late inning bullpen guy, or move up Albert Abreu, Steven Ridings. Like you said, these guys, I think they'd be best served to transition to the bullpen. See if you could unleash what you did, like I said, Betances, Green, Loizaga, where, all right, maybe, a Davy Garcia can't go 5 innings, 6 innings, but if you unleash him 2 innings, maybe he could be a real weapon out of the bullpen. I think that would be a great move. As you said, they have a lot of young arms in the system. Looks like they're close to being ready. And there are some starters as well. Clark Schmidt is somebody who I think the Yankees still have hopes on as a starter. But a lot of these names I think would be perfect to move into the bullpen. Like we said, Loizaga, Green, move them up a peg, closer, top setup man, whichever way you want to go there, and then bump up the rest from there. Move Nestor Cortez in that 7th inning role. Albert Abreu, move him up a little bit. Herman, you could use him in that role. There's a lot of options. I think the best course of action would be to shed the salary and hopefully use some of these young guys in those roles.
Yeah.
You said something really interesting. Moving on from like Nestor Cortez, maybe next year, like not being pushed out of the rotation and being put in the bullpen. Do you think that there's a possibility that because of his performance this year, the Yankees look to find a way to keep him in that rotation and plan for him to be one of the back end starters?
Yeah. So when I mentioned him as like a reliever, I think more so is what the team would do. I think he was a great fit in the rotation, even as a back end guy. I always said, Jordan Montgomery has ascended now, I think past a 4-5. I would say he's a solid 3. But I always said you need those 4-5 starter level guys. I mean, they round out the starting rotation. That's something that Nestor Cortez could be. I mean, he's shown a spike in velocity. He's hitting up to like 92. I love watching him pitch. I think we all do, just see how he switches things up and the way he changes his motion and things like that. I would definitely give him a chance. I mean, I don't think he should be removed from the rotation anytime soon, no matter who comes back. He's definitely proving his worth. I just think personally, the way the Yankees see him, I could see them maybe moving him full-time reliever. But then again, you have a guy, if you look back to like Adam Warren, where, he started some games, some games, high leverage in the bullpen, but also had to start big games. So I think he could be more of that swing man. I think that may be his best role, but I'd be more than happy to see him in the rotation full-time for sure.
Yeah, he is certainly an artist on the mound, isn't he? I mean, he gets like the theatrics of theater and everything else involved in him pitching. And I mean, speaking of a guy who's been an artist on the mound, I gotta ask you about Jameson Taillon. I mean, first of all, the trade is made, and I loved it because I have a lot of friends in Pittsburgh that know a lot about this team, and they were like, man, if you guys get a healthy Jameson Taillon and he stays healthy, look out. Like he's really that good. And I remember gassing him up all season long. And then when he had the bad start in Philadelphia, I was like, oh man, I'm losing hope in him. Like, I don't think this is going to work. And this dude was just like, oh no, wait a second, sit back, relax. Here we go. Like, let me just move forward. And he's been the best pitcher in the American League. I mean, since I think it was like June 18th or something like that, he's been literally the best pitcher in the American League. And we're seeing this guy as a number 2, but I'll have you talk a little about what you've seen about him. But one of the issues that I'm having recently, and I understand he's coming back from an injury, and I truly get that. You don't want to extend him a lot, right? Like yesterday's ball game and even his last outing, I think they limited him at like 85 pitches in both of those starts. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, this guy's your number 2. I understand you don't want to lose him. I truly get that. But at some point, you're going to have to show a little more faith in this guy. If he gets to the 6th inning, gives up a single, that you're not pulling him because he's at 85 pitches. That's a concern of mine personally, because behind Cole, he's the number 2 right now. No doubt about it. He's the number 2, followed by likely Montgomery. We'll see where Kluber and Severino and all these other guys fit in. But speak a little bit on that, if you don't mind. And there's also Taillon as a pitcher overall.
Yeah, so like you said, when they acquired Taillon, that was somebody who, they did Taillon and Kluber at the same time. I was kind of iffy about, 2 guys rehabbing, coming back. I was more interested in Taillon because he's more of a long-term project than Kluber was one and done most likely. You have to remember, though, and I remember putting this out there. I'm not the only person who spoke about it, but, he probably should have started the season in AAA just to get his footing under him. And he had to go through those growing pains at the major league level, which was an eyesore for fans. I mean, everybody was on him. I was on him. Probably you were. We all, right? Yep. So he's somebody who has really taken the Yankees approach where even there were some starts earlier in the year when he was looking good, but they'd pull him, one time through the lineup and we would all be frustrated. He's really taken on to their plan. So like you said, sometimes I get frustrated again, like last night, you want to see him go a little more, but I do think the Yankees have played him pretty well in terms of how they used him when they pull him. So I'm going to kind of lean with them and say I think they're doing the right thing, just how he's performed. But of course, I definitely would like to see him stretched out a little more. But it seems like he's getting there. Like you said, he's been the best pitcher in the American League since pretty much the start of summer. I mean, he's been fantastic. And a guy under contract next year, somebody who could be a long-term piece in this bullpen. I mean, the longer he's getting back to where he was, and we know he switched up his mechanics, but I mean, in terms of potential, he had that potential with the Pirates where he could be this type of player. So seeing what he's become has been really interesting. It's been really fun. And he's one of those guys where almost like a Nestor Cortez, I don't want to miss a start. I just feel like every game he pitches, he's improving, he's getting better and better. So definitely interesting how he's gone from where he started in the beginning of the season to now. Like you said, I would like to see him stretched out, but I do think the Yankees are handling him the right way. So I'm kind of just going to deviate to what they're doing and say they're doing it right.
Right.
My last question on the rotation. It's been an interesting year, right, in terms of like Yankee pitching. But at this point, if you look at it in a vacuum, our rotation has kind of, answered the bell this season. A lot of guys have stepped up, your Cortezes, your Montgomerys, and Tyone. But the number one guy who everything revolves around is Garrett Cole. And ever since like everything came out with like the sticky stuff, he had to kind of battle back and show like, that, well, not really show to us, because I think we all still believed that he was Garrett freaking Cole and he was going to do his thing. But yeah, apparently there were doubters out there that didn't think he could. Is there any, do you have like any doubts with Cole moving forward? I mean, with all the years left in the contract, there's a lot of people out there now saying that, you better watch out because look, now he's had some real stinkers. I personally feel like people are just forgetting that he's had these stinkers in the past, even with the sticky stuff. So I'm not necessarily blaming all of it on that. But do you think that there's a real problem with Garrett Cole moving forward, or is he going to be fine and be the ace that the Yankees paid him to be?
Yeah, see, I kind of lean with you where he's always had those stinkers, like you said. I mean, with the Astros, I think he was lights out. But if you revert back to when he was with the Pirates, I mean, he showed that ace potential, but there were some games where he just didn't have it. Now, I think there's a happy medium. I don't think he's going to go back to where he was with the Pirates, where he was more consistent. I'm not sure he's going to be like he was with the Astros either, because that was otherworldly, and it's just hard to expect that no matter what he's doing, sticky stuff or not, whatever it is. But you have to rely on him. I mean, that long of a contract, of course, you have to expect he's going to, fall down at some point, drop down a peg. But at that point, you hope the Yankees have somebody else in front of him. I'm not concerned about him. He's a gamer. He's pitched in every type of situation, playoffs, World Series, big games, small games, everything. He's a proven commodity, so I'm not really worried about it. I think, of course, there's going to be concerns, and, when the sticky stuff started getting the headlines and then he started struggling, it was a natural connection, and there could be. I'm not saying that he's completely innocent of that either, but I think that I have full faith in him no matter what he does. I mean, right now it looks like the Yankees will be fighting for that wild card, and they very well could be in that game, and who else would you want on the mound? I mean, sure, Jacob deGrom, you could say that, but if you're going to put up top three pitchers, you're going to pick Garrett Cole as one of them. So I have full faith in him pitching in that game.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, certainly agree with you on that when it comes to Cole. We've seen him at his best. And like you said, we've seen a bad start here and there. But even after the sticky stuff, he's had many great starts still of just pure domination. And I think that was a little chip on his shoulder to show, I really don't, whatever I was doing before, it's fine. We'll get it back to where it was. But the Yankees have a lot of young starters coming up. We've seen Luis Gil now recently, 11 shutout innings now. Really, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, but a surprise to be there this soon. I think everybody would agree with that because his numbers in AAA haven't been great. The one thing I always heard about Luis Gil was command. There's still a little bit issue of command. They got a very good slider, very good fastball. We're also seeing a really good changeup, in my opinion. Just seeing it, I think he's able to command it pretty well. So looking at this crop of all these young Yankee prospects we got coming up. I know you just posted about Baseball America, the new update in the 30. We see Davy Garcia take a drop. We see Clark Schmidt take a drop. But we see Luis Gil and Luis Medina right up there with the top guys. Out of all these pitching prospects the Yankees have, who is the guy that excites you the most, and who is a guy you think could really actually stick there as a starting pitcher moving forward?
So I don't want to, take the cheap answer, but Heel, I mean, he's been. Listen, it's one thing. The numbers I don't put crazy stock into in AAA because a lot of times they're working on different things. They're not necessarily AAA in the minors. They could be working on different things or trying different mechanics. But I think there's a certain level of confidence you have to have as a major league pitcher, and he's been. He has some type of swagger on the mound that's not taught. You could tell that he's kind of ready for that moment. His 2 starts been as advertised according to these prospect lists. Medina is another one who kind of fits in that same mold. I thought both of them could be possible reliever options like we were talking about before, where you could, they'll be good for 5-6 innings, but they could be great in 1 or 2 innings. But I think Heel's somebody, and you know what? He's still rehabbing, but Clark Schmidt, I mean, they've had high hopes for him since they drafted him. They knew he was going to have some injury issues coming out. I mean, they drafted him off Tommy John surgery anyway. I think he's somebody who the system anyway, the Yankees think that he could be still a full-time starter. Davies kind of taking a fall back. He was kind of always like that. I mean, his numbers were never eye-popping either. I mean, he did garner a lot of strikeouts, but was also a high walk guy, gave up a lot of hits. I thought he deserved a spot coming out of spring training, or coming out of last year, to be in the starting rotation this year. He proved enough for me in 2020, but obviously that didn't work out, and it seems like he's taking a step back. But like I said about Heel, I mean, it's one thing when the numbers are good, which they have been, but it's another thing when it's your confidence, your swagger, kind of look like you belong, and he looks like it. I mean, you could see him on the mound. He's having fun, and the game is fun. It's baseball. So I really like what I've seen out of him. I think he could be a real option, and Schmidt too. I'm keeping my eyes on as well.
And have you heard? I've been talking about this for years now, and I know I got a lot of people angry with me about it. When Garcia was up doing very good, but I was always personally told that the Yankees valued Clark Schmidt higher than Davy Garcia, and even a lot of scouts would say he has a better mold, a body frame to be a starter long term. It was always thought that Garcia would eventually be in the bullpen. Is that have you ever heard anything like that?
Yeah, I've heard pretty much the same stuff. One scout I talked to who watched the Yankees extensively, even in 2019 when he was having that strong season, it was always, he's a bullpen guy. He could be a 4 or 5. I mean, I could find tweets from years ago saying that, he's a back end if you want to put him in the rotation. But again, I know I've said this a couple times on this call alone, but, he may be served better when you could just unleash him in the bullpen for 1 inning, let him go. Like we said, he did have the high strikeout numbers, but his whip was always high. He was always walking people. His command was another issue. I always thought Clark Schmidt, I mean, I knew when he was drafted, the first thing I heard was this kid's on the fast track. As long as he could stay healthy, he could fly through the system quickly because he was always mature. He was a college arm, kind of in the mold of James Caprillion, who they flipped for Sonny Gray a few years ago. They had that same trajectory where it won't take long for them to be in the minors. And I know Schmidt has gone through injury issues, just kind of halted his progress, but he's somebody who I think could be somebody who can stick in the rotation, definitely over Davey for sure.
Right. Switching gears really quickly, the NL West is probably been like the craziest division all year. Not that the AL East is far behind these days, but for the most of the season, it's been Dodgers, Giants, and of course the Padres being like the bigger stories out there. Right. How do you see that race shaping out when it's all said and done? Like, who do you think are the 2 teams standing in that NLCS?
It's crazy because I keep wanting to say the Giants are going to regress, but I feel like I've been thinking that for like 3 months now, and they just haven't. Yeah, they're still hanging in there. They got Chris Bryant, which is huge because he's a proven winner, World Series champion. You slot him in the middle of that lineup. The Dodgers, man, Trey Turner and Max Scherzer. I mean, that's you can't get much better of a trade package than that. Padres are super fun, but I still think I don't want to say they're years away. They're not, but I think I want to give the edge to the Dodgers just because they've been there. They've been in that, they've been perennial National League favorites for how many years now, and they're a team that's been there, done that in the playoffs. So I always want to give them the edge, but it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, all 3 teams killing it. A ton of talent out in that division. I mean, the Giants probably have the least amount of talent in there in first place. So, I mean, it's just funny how that works out. I think in the years to come, I think the the Giants will eventually regress. Again, I've been saying that for 3 months and they haven't. I just still think that's most likely what's going to happen. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to say the Dodgers. But, all 3 teams, it's going to be a fight all year.
2 questions for you on the actual National League. One about Fernando Tatis actually coming back to play center field. That's something that you just mentioned in a tweet. And then the other one, here's a question I have because I'm a big fan of this ball club. Is it possible that the representative of the National League this year could actually come from the Central and be the Brewers with that rotation?
All right. Well, Tatis first. I do know that, they think that he could be the best center fielder in baseball. I heard that verbatim, not necessarily from people in the Padres, but somebody close out there who knows what's going on. They think that he could translate. He'll be perfectly fine out there. I know that they were in talks with the Nationals, with Trey Turner and Max Scherzer, both of them. So they kind of had these plans, and it's not that they were always going to put Fernando Tatis in center, but they are in talent acquiring mode. So they'll get whoever they need and they'll figure out where they're going to play later.
Yep.
So Turner could play center field. Let's say they got him. He could have played center. Tatis could have played center, Turner. But again, that's a moot point now because it didn't happen. But yeah, the Padres, Tatis, he's a superstar and he's going to make waves wherever he plays. He's athletic enough. And shortstops can usually make that transition. Look at Trey Turner himself. He's done it too. So I think he's going to be fine out there. As for the Brewers, man, they're a quiet team, but they always seem to be fighting in it regardless. And like you said, they have the pitching. Pitching always wins, and that's what they have at their disposal. So they're a team to keep an eye on. I still want to lean towards the Giants. I'll say that whole NL West, Giants, Padres, Dodgers, any of those teams I would expect to make it out. But, the Brewers are a problem, man. They have a sneaky good lineup too. So they're a good team. They're another team that's always been in as well these last few years. Yeah, I like the Brewers, but I would still lean National League West.
When you put out the Tatis tweet, the first thing that my mind goes to obviously is like the off season, because I'm like a super huge fan of trade deadline, winter, all that stuff when transactions teams are willing and dealing. Preller has proven to be God status when it comes to putting a team together and going for it. If you move Tatis to center field, and yes, shortstop becomes open, but they do have a prospect who could move up there. But would they possibly consider adding one of the many shortstops who are hitting the market this winter? Could you see them doing that?
So when I found out about the Tatis news, I was told it's eventually for CJ Abrams, the prospect, like you said, to take that spot. He's a high-end prospect. He's playing extremely well in Double-A right now. But like I said before, the Padres, they're in talent acquisition mode. They don't care what position you play. If they could get their hands on you, they'll get you, and then they'll figure out after. Something I respect. And you know what? It's funny because you see that with the Dodgers, right? They have Corey Seager, even though he's hurt, but they get Trey Turner and Max Scherzer. I don't know if you guys know this. AJ Preller started as an intern with the Dodgers. That's where his roots are. So he's into that same thing where, listen, I'm going to get whoever I need. I don't care where you play, I'll put you in. So I can't rely on anybody for the Padres. I heard that, the package that the Nationals wanted from the Padres for Scherzer and Trey Turner, they only were going to do one or the other, but I heard from somebody out there that the package they were willing to give up, they came back and said, we'll give you that and a little more for Juan Soto. So they were trying to get anybody. They didn't care. They're going all out for whatever. And again, like I said, I know I keep repeating myself, but they'll get the talent in the door, then they'll figure it out after. So I wouldn't be surprised if they pull a Carlos Correa. Maybe they take Corey Seager, bring him just a little bit closer to San Diego. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. But my initial reaction is I heard CJ Abrams is the plan at shortstop.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think all three of us at least are in the same mindset that I love that mentality, right? Just get
100%.
Get the best of the best and we'll find a spot for them. We'll find out what works best. Unfortunately for us on our side, we got a lot of the best, but they're all freaking DHs. It's where the hell do you put these guys? That's a little different. It's if they had some athletes, it's we can move some guys around. That works a little well, but we got a little bit of a jam on this club, man. And moving forward, it's going to be extremely interesting because I don't see a way you don't bring Anthony Rizzo back. I think Anthony Rizzo is too perfect to let this guy go. Let's be honest. Even if you maybe say, all right, Luke Voigt at his best possibly hits 30 plus homers, Anthony Rizzo's not going to be too far behind that in the power department playing at Yankee Stadium, but he's so much better defensively. And he makes everybody on the infield better. And that has to account for something. And I think there's a leadership mentality that automatically comes with Anthony Rizzo that this club desperately needs. They desperately need somebody like that. And I just think he's too perfect moving forward. But looking, kind of beyond that, and of course, you could say if you disagree maybe with Rizzo coming back, if that's going to happen or not. But looking at this infield setup, this is the conundrum kind of the Yankees are in. Gio, we know, gets injured a lot. It's even when he was a platoon guy with the Indians, he used to get injured. So it's not some new thing of him getting injured. Gleyber Torres looks better at shortstop. He does. He's definitely improved at short. Still don't feel he's the best shortstop in the planet. Doesn't have to be, but I think he needs to be a little bit better than what we've even seen from him now. DJ LeMahieu's DJ LeMahieu. He could play all over the infield. Is there any talk that you have heard of potentially one of these big shortstops? I know one of the names that I hear a lot about is Brandon Crawford, if he ever would leave, because he's a good stopgap for a guy like Anthony Volpe in a few years to come over and take that position. What are you hearing about maybe the way this infield is going to look to be set up, or just in general, what are your thoughts on it?
So I haven't heard much, not going to lie, but I think that after what's going on this year, I think Volpe is the answer at shortstop. Whether that's 2022, 2023, I don't know. Maybe they could get a stopgap, but I don't know. It just seems like he's doing everything right at the right time. I mean, he's hitting his offensive numbers off the charts. He's a defensive wizard at shortstop. He's got speed. The intangibles too, like people say character-wise and all that stuff you hear, are all off the charts. Quickly ascending up prospect boards. I mean, and he just got drafted in 2019. Dealt with a bout of mono in 2019. 2020 was a lost year. Now 2021, he's really excelling at an all-time high. So I think he'd be the logical fit, especially, I mean, we always have to talk about it with the Yankees payroll. Are they going to want to dish out that money for a shortstop when you have somebody possibly come through the system? Oswald Peraza is another one. I think Volpe has jumped him, but Peraza was somebody who I liked early on this season as well. So it's just another option. I think going back to Rizzo, like you said, I think he's best served, coming back. Nothing crazy long-term, maybe a 3-year deal. I don't know what his market's going to be, but I think he's a perfect fit. And it, we don't really know this for sure, but he seems like somebody who goes in, commands the clubhouse. He's coming from a winner. He's a World Series champion, storied franchise like the Cubs. I kind of think he's a great fit. And you know what's funny? I think, the Gallo trade obviously would have been a positive regardless because they needed a left-handed power bat in that lineup. He's versatile. But I think when they traded for Rizzo, because it came out of the blue, I think it kind of just upped the ante for the team. And it's like, all right, this isn't just a future move. This is for now. I mean, we're going to go for it. Granted, they didn't have a lot of pieces to trade. They were kind of stuck in no man's land. So buying was probably their best option. But making that move, I think, kind of reshaped the season. And it's already having positive effects to both of them. So I think he's a fit long-term. But shortstop, like you said, Brandon Crawford, that's a 1-year deal right there. I don't think you're giving him anything more than that for Volpe. So Gleyber, you mentioned him. I could see him being, second baseman in the future, but kind of DJ's contract kind of messes that up. I don't see DJ as a third baseman. I heard from a couple people they don't think he's really great, like would be a fit full-time at third base. Gio's making so little that you kind of just stick with him there. Right. But again, injuries. I mean, I don't know. Volpe maybe could play third base. I don't know what his prospects are there. But I think out of the prospect realm and like where I could see them going, I think Rizzo as like not paying a crazy amount like you would pay maybe a Seager or a Correa, somebody like that. You kind of save some money, pay Rizzo, and then hope for that Volpe development. Hope he kind of sticks there.
Yeah. Well, looking at the infield, we've been talking about this for months on NYY News. With the way things are looking, it seems more and more every day like Luke Voit becomes the odd man out, right? And it's a shame, right? Because Luke Voit was the guy who carried the team last year. I mean, led the league in home runs. He's a great character guy. But again, right, there's the injury thing. He's not great defensively. And when you have, the prospects of having a guy like Anthony Rizzo man that position, you got to go for it, right? So if we do go for that, then what do you think the market looks like for a Luke Voit? Like, do you think the Yankees, like, obviously, I think the Yankees could move him. I know some people are pretty pessimistic on that. I'm not as pessimistic on it. I just don't think we get something ridiculous back right away. We might get what do you think we get back is my question.
Yeah, so I not that they shot themselves in the foot, but I think the Rizzo trade kind of came out of nowhere. What I heard was they were really, I mean, we all heard they were focusing on Story and they were working on a lot, but the Rockies just weren't budging on the price tag. So the Yankees said, all right, we're going to use some of those prospects, use them elsewhere. The Rizzo trade kind of came out of nowhere, right?
Yep.
But I think because they made that trade right away, the Voit market, teams they were trying to give him up, not give him up, but they were ready to move on from him, so they weren't giving what they could offer. I think Voit is actually underrated in terms of an offensive player. I know he's a power bat, led the team, but he sees a ton of pitches, walks a lot, gets on base a lot. I mean, he could be a value, especially with the National League implementing the DH most likely next year.
Yep.
He could be a value to a ton of teams. So I think they could get something good in return. I don't think they're going to get a frontline starter or something like that, but you could get a pretty good reliever for him or something like that. A useful arm for sure. I think it'd come in return for Voit. So like you said, he's a big clubhouse guy. He's been a part of this core, a big part of this core for the last few years. But again, this core hasn't gotten it done. And as much as I like Voit, I think he's a great fit for the team. There's got to be a shakeup. And I thought that shakeup would happen in the offseason. I think with Rizzo, Gallo, they decided to do that mid-year. So, yeah, I think Voit, unfortunately, is as good as gone. He's been a great Yankee ever since he came. But, I mean, yeah, he's kind of a one-dimensional player in terms of defense. And, yeah, I mean, as much of a great bat he is, if you're going to have Rizzo, it's kind of hard to envision them both in the lineup.
Yeah.
So one more question I got regarding the infield. When it comes to Gleyber Torres, we hear so much about Gleyber, right? And now he's on the IL with the finger injury. Really going to upset his chances at winning the Mushroom Cup and Mario Kart coming in the next couple of plane rides. But Gleyber Torres is an odd guy for me. I love him. I really do. I think there's a tremendous amount of talent inside him. There just seems to have, and maybe it's like that Robinson Cano type thing, right? Where Cano would just knock the socks off. You're like, this guy's so damn talented. And you'll see him make boneheaded plays. You're like, what is he looking at in the stands? Like, well, what's he thinking half the time? And when it comes to a guy like Gleyber, so I guess my question mainly is Gleyber Torres undoubtedly, which I think he probably is he going to be a Yankee for going forward? Is that somebody this offseason where they go, we know there's a spot for him, but maybe we got some better options. We get a guy like Brandon Crawford. We know Volpe's on his way. We know maybe Peraza could play third base in the future. Maybe they eventually switch him over there. Maybe he's a guy who we can add a huge name to this rotation. Maybe we can add a top 10 prospect with this guy if we move him. Is that something you can actually see the Yankees potentially doing, or is the controllability of having him there at a cheap salary for years to come more valuable for the Yankees?
Yeah, so I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. I think he's extremely talented, like you said. We all know that. He's proven it. He's kind of one of those guys where he busted out of the gate really fast, and maybe he's not the superstar that people thought he would be, which is fine if he's still, he doesn't have to be that type of guy. Maybe you could look for him in a trade, but again, like I said before, when you think of the financials, which we all know about, and that's what the Yankees really care about, I think when they see that they have somebody that's still very talented, still very young, and still under contract, unless they could get a frontline starter in return for him, I think they would hang on to him. And, I think they would be selling low this offseason, injuries and, just not playing up to his potential. That's what I think. Again, you never know. I don't think he's untouchable by any means. I think they would move him for the right deal, especially with these young guys coming up and DJ locked in. That's a big thing we have to remember too. I mean, he's going to be the second baseman, especially if they keep Rizzo. And I think we could all agree Gleyber's best position is second base. I mean, I thought he was really, really good at second base.
He was.
Yeah, so I still think they'll hang on to him at least for another year, try him out. Because like we said, again, I mean, Volpe, if he's the answer, Peraza, if he's the answer, they're not going to be ready for opening day next year. They still need some seasoning under their belts. So why give up on somebody like that who has shown power potential, has shown, like you said, especially with Rizzo, he's taken strides at shortstop as well, defensively. So I think they'll hang on to him, especially with the money factor. But I wouldn't say he's untouchable by any means.
Yeah. Just to piggyback on what you were saying about Gleyber Torres, I think the fact of the matter is that controllability is just too intoxicating for Cashman and Steinbrenner. And like, I think what frustrates me most with Gleyber Torres is not so much, that, he makes the mistakes and things like that, but it's more so that I feel like we're stuck with him, whether he gets back to what we think the potential showed us or not. he's going to be the guy because like he's so cheap, and you can always just go back to, well, there's so much potential there, and he showed so much talent that like we're not giving up on him. Like they could say that for the next 2-3 years, and it's kind of hard to argue because of what he showed in those first couple of years when he was up. Even if like some people say like most of it was against the Orioles and all this, regardless of who it was against or whatever, the numbers are there, and if they're going off that, then it's kind of hard to get rid of that when it's coming so cheap in a world that the Yankees can't spend like drunken sailors anymore. They got to worry about the luxury tax and the cap and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree pretty much 100% with you there. Like when you factor in the money, the years, he kind of reminds me, not playing wise, but like Javier Baez, where he came out hot and everybody thought he was the next big thing. Then he kind of regressed, and he goes through streaks where he's crazy hot, but he's not, a top 5 player at his position either. So I think with terms of Gleyber, you're going to see stretches where he could probably carry the offense, but he may never be the guy that Yankees fans thought he could be. But you also have to factor in too, like you said, with Cashman and Steinbrenner, Cashman's an ego guy. We know that. And that trade that he made for Gleyber was, I mean, you make that trade 10 times out of 10, always.
Yep.
And that's somebody he acquired, got a lot of praise for that. So I don't see him just cutting losses after a down year. He dealt with COVID. That there could be some issues with that. We don't know health-wise. So I can't see them just saying, you know what, this guy who we brought in was a top 5 prospect in baseball, and now all of a sudden after a couple, sluggish years, we're just going to give up, even though he's still young and under contract and cheap. I just don't see it. Like I said, if you could get a frontline starter, maybe. I mean, like I said, he's not going to be untouchable, but I just think realistically he'll be that shortstop.
My last thing, real quick, real simple. I know we've been back and forth on this as Yankee fans for like years now, the whole Gary Sanchez thing. What do you think is the future for Gary? I think Gary Sanchez has one more year after this year or something like close to that, one more year, and then his contract is up. What do you think happens with Gary Sanchez? Do you think the Yankees re-sign him, or do you think they just let him walk in free agency?
Man, Gary, dude, he's another one, man, where it's just like
isn't that how you always start Gary stuff? Gary, I mean, man, Gary, man.
Gary. But he's another one where he came up and lit the world on fire. He was hitting a home run every day, it seemed like, when he first got called up. I mean, that potential is there. He's definitely performed better this year. He gets a lot of flack behind the plate, and understandably so, but I don't think he's the worst catcher in the world either. When you look at his raw numbers, compared to other catchers, it's like, why give up on somebody like that where, the position in general is not great. So might as well keep somebody who has that, high risk, high reward. But at the same time, sometimes a change of scenery is big for somebody. And, it kind of reminds me of like a Clint Frazier where, maybe if you trade him for his sake, he may just flourish somewhere else. He's been in this market for a long time. And that's sometimes I think of Gary Sanchez. I don't think they're going to give up on him before his contract ends, like you said. But, yeah, his future, it's like, but who could they pivot to? I mean, you have Austin Wells. They have a lot of hope in him. I don't think they care much about his defense because it's not great in the minors. They see him as a left-handed power bat. That's what they're more concerned about. So maybe he'll be an option, but he's another one who's a little bit away. So I think like Gleyber, in terms of with Gleyber and Volpe and Peraza, that conversation, you just hang on to Sanchez as long as you can and see if Wells could develop into that. If not, you can move somewhere else. But I think they'll hang on to him at least for another year. I mean, they seem to be riding with him this long. It's like at this point, why give up on him,
Yep. And the last question I have for you, and then actually one question, and then the last question is an easy one. You kind of gave me a little bit of a nightmare there for a second, man, when you were talking about Cashman's ego, because all I thought about was on opening day next year, Aaron Hicks is going to be in center field. We know it. He's going to be in center field. And we all know it's going to happen. Look, as much as I believe he needs to be tried. I think you can. His contract isn't insane where you can't move him. $10 million. Yeah, it's long. We know that. But you could always put a prospect with him, maybe add some money, and a team will take Aaron Hicks. $10 million doesn't break any team's back, really. For a lot of clubs out there, contending clubs could say, yeah, we'll take the risk on him. Why the hell not? Add a prospect in there. We don't get much back, but, it clears that spot. I would love to see Florial in center field. I think, people bring up, oh, well, you sucked in AAA. Well, up here, he's hitting 300. So I don't know what else you'd want. I kind of look at those numbers more than I look at the quality of at bat too, that we saw, which was absolutely terrific. But just speaking on Aaron Hicks, do you think he comes back? And then the last thing that you could just finish up with is, do the Yankees make the playoffs? Yes or no?
Okay, so center field. Hicks, I pretty much agree with exactly what you said. I think you could definitely trade him, attach a prospect, eat money. Definitely doable. And I think it's just another thing where it's like, this core has been there for a while and just hasn't gotten it done. I know they've gotten far. They've won a ton of regular season games, but they haven't won a World Series, and that's the ultimate goal. So, like Voit, sometimes you just got to shake things up. And Hicks is a part of that group where he's done well with the Yankees. I mean, he's had some big moments, but injuries have hampered it, and it just seems like they need to move on. I am in 100% agreement. Florial should be the starting center fielder right now. There's no reason why he should not be in the major leagues. Like you said, I understand his stats aren't great in AAA. He's had strikeout issues, and there are problems. He's not the perfect player by far, but they have enough offense where see what you have in him. Let him go out there for a month and just play him every single day.
That's exactly what I've been
he's gonna play a strong center field. If he gets on base, he's gonna be a wreck havoc because he has that speed. He has power potential. He can take advantage of Yankee Stadium. I thought post-trade deadline, I mean, I remember when they got Gallo and Rizzo and I put out like my lineup that I think it should be. I had Florial starting center field, and then like 2 hours later, they dropped him to the minors. So I just don't understand why he doesn't get a chance. They could, if he's struggling, he can't be much worse than what they had. And yes, Brett Gardner has stepped it up recently. But he's been a big part in these last few wins. So, you can't take anything away from him. But I just think it comes to a point where you just have to see what you have in your prospects. You can't keep them in the minor leagues for so long and then they lose value. I mean, you don't know what he could do. And then guess what? If he flourishes, that's a cheap option in center field you can have next year, the year after, until Dominguez is ready. That hopefully that happens for him. So, like I said, I think Florial, they should give him a month trial and just say, listen, sink or swim, give it a shot. We could hide him in the bottom if he doesn't play well offensively. At least we know he could be a defensive wizard, and it's better. It's just as good as what they have, if not better. And that potential is just even more on top of that, where he's a 22-year-old spark plug. You just play him every day. I don't know. I think he would be the perfect fit, especially in this lineup, left-handed back. That remains to be seen. I'm big on Florial. I've always been.
You and me both.
Yeah, I've spoken to scouts who absolutely love his raw potential. Yep. And again, it's not reflected in the stats, but like we said with the pitching, sometimes it's not all about the stats. It depends on how they're doing, their at-bats are, and things like that. So he's somebody who I thought would be a great option. But that remains to be seen. It doesn't look like that's in the cards, at least right now. Will the Yankees make the playoffs? I do think since the trade deadline, and I don't want to speak, they just got these guys that's going to turn the season, but you could see that, like last night would have been a loss a month ago.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. And a lot of these games since the trade deadline would have been losses a month ago. So I think bringing Gallo, Rizzo, a lot of the fans were rejuvenated. I mean, once the first homestand after the trade deadline, the place was packed out. There's been a lot of talk all over social media, which, players see. Everybody's staying in tune with that as well. A lot of high hopes, already making up ground as well. So I do think they're going to do it. I think there'll be a wild card team. And then, like we said earlier, I mean, you put Cole, that's a top 3 pitcher you'd want in a wild card game. So, and then like Cashman said recently, once you're in, it all depends on who gets hot. But I do think they'll be one of the 2 wild card teams when the season ends.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Dan, thank you for joining us, man. We greatly appreciate it. Always appreciate your insight. And guys, go follow Dan. So, Dan, do you have any plugs or anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, man, just follow me at Dan J. Federico on Twitter. Always, tweeting out things I hear. I got some slack during the trade deadline for some of the miscues I made, but things happen. But I
tell him what I tell him. Shut it up. Shut the hell up.
Post, bro, real talk. You were pretty spot on.
No,
though.
You
had a pretty good deadline.
You spot on.
You had a pretty good deadline.
Listen, regardless, I say that it's all jokes. I roll with the punches, man. I'm always the first one. If something doesn't happen, I'll be like, man, I thought I had it. I didn't. My bad. I'll try to get the next one. So yeah, it's tough. That's Twitter though. You know how we all is behind the keyboard. I can say anything. So, but yeah, just follow me on there. I put out what I hear. I've been doing it for a while on Twitter. So I'm also working under Max Goodman. He's the Sports Illustrated beat writer. I'm doing stuff with their Fan Nation site, their Yankee specific site. So I'm writing a couple blogs here and there as well with them. So, just stay tuned on there. I'm always tweeting out Yankee stuff. So any interaction, I always love talking with everybody. And, you guys have been interacting with for a while. So it's great to be on there with you guys now and finally talk to you guys in person.
Yeah, man. We wish you all the best. So thank you for joining us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me, guys.
Of course.
All right.
All right, Francis. I mean, we saw that interview. We liked that interview. We had a great time with Dan, even afterwards, just having a chat about the team. Brought up a lot of the same points that, again, we've been harping on. One of the things he talked about too was Florial not getting the shot. I thought that was a big takeaway for me in that interview. Is that we were kind of calling on that 1 month type trial, see what the guy is, see who he is, before you go out there and make moves and whatnot. But Flo is still stuck in AAA. A lot of what Dan said is about Gallo and Rizzo, all where a lot of the fans are also. So just a tremendous interview with a really good guy.
Oh yeah. Nah, man, I appreciate it. Again, shout out to Dan Federico. And if you guys aren't following him, I don't know what you guys are doing. Because like I just said in the interview, he was pretty spot on this trade deadline. So, like he said, he can't get everything right, and none of these people get everything right. I mean, I think we saw that, this trade deadline, right? Ken Rosenthal gets something wrong, passing gets stuff wrong all the time. But Federico was pretty spot on for the Yankees. So if you ain't following, you should be. And yeah, man, he brought up some real decent points, and this is what we do. I mean, I don't know how many weeks straight we've been doing this, man, but I think we bring in consistent, good interviews, quality content. I mean, I know other people out there, they trying to do the same thing, but I mean, they're not doing it like us. So.
No, not at all. We got another big guest next week coming up, so I'll hold that off for everybody. We'll announce that.
Oh yeah,
we'll announce that one. We'll definitely announce that and get that out to everybody. But
that's a fact. Oh, and if by now you haven't watched our interview with Ozzie Guillen Jr.,
oh yeah,
I don't know what you're doing. Like, if you consider yourself a fan of NYY News and you haven't watched the Ozzie Guillen Jr. interview, you are bugging out. That's been one of our best joints to date. I think I could go out there and say that's been one of our best joints to date. So
yeah, I've
definitely
personally
check that out.
I've watched that about 3 times, no joke. Getting clips from it and then just continuing. Oh, what do you say here again? Like, and just continuing on from it, and it's great because now it's like when I'm able to get on like other podcasts, I find myself referencing those interviews again, like what we talked about, because a lot of great points have been made in these interviews. That it's like I continue to want to put it out there, but Dan is right there with us on most things Yankees. When it comes to the amount of money the Yankees are locking in the bullpen, and we'll talk about Zach Britton and Aroldis Chapman, but we'll definitely talk about Zach Britton quite a bit here coming up. But again,
he followed me back. He followed me back.
Yeah, Dan messaged me. He's like, what's his ad? I sent it to him. Dan's a stand-up dude, man. He tell you gonna do it. He gonna do it.
Stand-up guy, because a lot of these people out there's a lot of talk, whatever. But Dan, real dude. I just, it's the little things for me that show the loyalty. Once you show me a little bit of loyalty, I'm riding for you. Facts.
And look, man, that's the Italian. That's the true Italian way right there. You know what I mean?
Facts.
You know what I mean? They want to talk about Ugats. I'll give them Ugats. That's the way it goes in life.
It is. As long as you're on the team, we tipping the cap to you. Now, if you're not on the team,
facts. That's it. So you know what?
I don't got a cap to tip.
Fam, look, everybody knows, right? By the time we're recording this today, it would have been yesterday where I had to get on the live and flip out. So I literally went on the live and flipped out last night. I know you guys were talking about it in the chat. Felix was laughing when I said boom bitch.
I couldn't, bro. That one took me out. You know what's crazy? I had just joined, literally.
And I said that. You said, "Oh man, that's it."
And you was like, "Aaron, bitch." I said, "Oh nah." The P is hot right now. I went right to the chat. As soon as I sent it, Felix had already sent it.
Fam, it's arguably the hottest I think I've ever been, and people don't understand. People thought that I was so hot based off what actually happened. That wasn't necessarily the case. I got hot based off of his little pussy wimp comment at the end when he talked about, oh, it stung, but it hurts a little. Like, matter of fact, let's cut to the highlights. Let's cut to the Field of Dreams game, and we're gonna take you guys over everything that happened. Francis, we can sit here and talk all day, right, about the positives of this ball game. Kevin Costner, as you see on the screen, they did a great job. Nobody's knocking Major League Baseball here, right? Major League Baseball did a wonderful job. The players came out of the corner, as I think we all expected to happen, just like the movie. But they did a tremendous job on everything optic-wise, right? The optics of this game looked absolutely terrific, from the uniforms to the field to the wood behind, the little wood fence looking thing behind home plate. Yeah. Everything was terrific. So let's talk a little bit quickly about the optics and MLB how they conducted this game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, one thing I don't want to be, I would feel really bad if I missed out, saying in this episode was how well I feel that the MLB executed, this game. And the reason I feel like we gotta kind of give them their flowers for this is because the MLB screws up damn near everything. Facts. I'm sorry, I just feel like last year the bubble in San Diego, all that I feel like they screwed up everything. For once, I think MLB got it right. First of all, you got the right teams, right? You had the White Sox and the Yankees, right? Bam. That was probably a no-brainer, but trust me, if anybody can mess that up, it's the MLB. They got that. They got that right.
Facts.
Then you got the jerseys, right? Some people I saw complaining about the jersey. They was like, "Oh, well, the Yankees jersey is not really much different from their away jersey as it is." Was like, duh. Like that's the reason. Like the Yankees jerseys are so storied. Like
that's your new age Yankee fan, fam. That's exactly. That's it right there. You fucking assholes. You don't. What are you doing?
They don't know what they're talking about. They say, "Oh, it looks basically like the away jersey they wear now." It's
shit.
Numbnuts. That's the point. That's the point. That's why it's one of the most iconic jerseys in the world. It's damn near almost never changed.
Give him the bottle. Give him a bottle. That's it.
So of course it looks the same, but it's like obviously there was different. The white outline wasn't there. It was like they looked good. They looked clean. I absolutely loved the hat with the old school Yankee logo and the green bottom, the green brim. I was like, yeah, I love that. So I'm copping one of the hats. And the White Sox jersey looks super clean. Dope. The pinstripe hat. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little jealous that they were the ones wearing the off-white jersey with the pinstripes because I was like, the Yankee joint would look amazing in that touch. But whatever, they got the jerseys right. Bam! Now you're talking about the actual field, right? They could have messed that up in a million different ways, but they found a way to do it. Man, the cornfield. Listen, we've been joking stuff like that, whatever. But the cornfield, it was cool. It was cool. Like, yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm tight. I wish I could have been there because I would have been there fanning out. I would have went through the corn maze. I would have went to the other field where they actually shot the movie. Like, it looked dope as hell. The players coming out of the corn, that's a moment like that I'm probably not gonna forget. Like, I'll always remember. Like, yeah, I saw the first Field of Dreams game, and I got, I was lucky enough to see freaking Aaron Judge, Joey Gallo, and Giancarlo Stanton walk out together. Like, right, almost, literally bang, 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 one next to the other. Like, that was dope to me. Like, and then Kevin Costner standing on the mound, looking back at the. They had the angles right. All the pageantry was done 100% right. So shouts out to MLB for getting something right because they don't always do that.
Right. Nah, man, it was there's not enough I could say about it, to be honest. The ball game in general, so everything there. And the good thing is, Rob Manfred said it is going to be. There's a rumor circulating that the creators of the field are in agreement on a 3-year deal right now to do it for the next 3 years. But of course, that can always be extended. So it looks like something baseball is going to do again. So, I see a lot of people talking about, is there going to be other venues that baseball might do? I tell you what, I think that's a wonderful idea. I think that's a great idea. Maybe there's something else that can be done in the future. I don't know. I know a lot of people say like a Sandlot field and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know about all that, but I do like the idea of maybe a themed type fields, whether that's a game a year, 2 games a year, whatever. I mean, baseball figures out ways to make money, right? And this is a brilliant way, in my opinion, for baseball to do what they love to do. That's making money. But this one, has such a legacy with Major League Baseball that it just worked out so damn well because, again, the optics of it are just off the damn charts. I mean, like you said, baseball doesn't always get things right. You can't deny them on getting this one right. And the game was a ball game. You know what I mean? It was a ball game. Unfortunately, we had Heaney on the mound, but it was a ball game.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that kind of went into the planning of it being, so good was it's a freaking August game. Like you got a game in August that means something to teams, maybe not so much for the White Sox because they're like over 10 games up, like in first place, but for sure, for the Yankees, this was a big game. We need every game that we can get. We need every series that we can get. So the fact that this game happened so late in the year, there was a little more care into it. Would have been nice to have, Rizzo in the lineup. Would have been nice to have Cole or anyone other than Andrew Heaney on the mound. But yeah, I mean, that was what it was. But I think, like you said, man, it was a ball game, and I think mainly because look at the time of year it is. Teams at least if you do this game at this time every year, at least one of the two teams is going to be like playing for something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I remember, so while I'm watching the game yesterday, my pops messaged me and he says, when Heaney got out of the game, he gives me the update that Heaney has given up 9 homers for the Yankees already. 9 home runs given up in 3 starts from Andrew Heaney. So people are already starting to ask the question, is this guy, what is he moving forward? What does that look like for the Yankees? They got so many guys coming back. You can't keep Heaney there. And even on a podcast I did today, they basically asked me that question what do you do with Heaney? And my first thing that comes to my mind is, at the end of the day, him potentially coming out of the bullpen is not a bad idea for this club. He strikes guys out. We can't deny that. Is he a guy I want to see in a close game? No, probably not. But he does miss bats. He does strike guys out. Again, just as we see Aaron Judge here, this is when it gets a little crazy, fun, and then ugly. In the top of the 9th, they hit the 2-run home run to make it a 1-run game. But Heaney goes 5 innings, 7 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. The pen did his job after that with Wandy Peralta looked terrific. Joely Rodriguez looked okay. And then, of course, Zach Britton is what we're going to get to here any moment. But the offense did his job. They hit a lot of homers, but is that your assumption of Andrew Heaney? Is that eventually he's probably going to end up in the pen?
I mean, I just can't see him starting, very many more games with all the guys that we have coming back. I don't think he should be starting very many more games. I think we've seen enough. His first start was against a team like the Orioles, and if you're gonna have, what softer landing than the Baltimore Orioles can you have? Like arriving to a team, first start, trying to prove yourself, and he gets tagged for 4 home runs, and we said, oh, okay, we heard he could have some struggles trying to get acclimated in the city. We gave him another start, and same thing, another 4 runs. He does kind of like settle down and pull us a little bit in later into the game. So yeah, we still come back and win that one. But then we hear he's getting the start here at this Field of Dreams game, and all of us kind of reacted the same way. Like,
right.
It's just, this is not what you want, man. Like, this is not the guy that, like, it's like, damn, bro. Like, we knew all year that we were gonna have this game, and somehow none of the pitchers that we would want starting this game are available, and we have to go to a guy who just got here a couple weeks ago and is shakier than a stripper's butt cheeks. And yet, yeah, and bro, and he was the dude that started the game, and
yeah,
he did exactly what we thought he was gonna do. And I said it in the group chat. So I do want to say it here on the podcast. Like, am I gonna kill the move like entirely? Like, wow, I don't know what the hell Brian Cashman was thinking. No, I can tell you exactly what Brian Cashman was thinking. Look at some of the at bats, between the home runs. Like, he has these flashes where it's like there is a ridiculous amount of potential with this kid.
Yeah, definitely.
Like he strikes guys out on 3-4 pitches sometimes and just overmatches them, like, or whatever. Where it's like, whoa, this kid could be really good. I mean, his issue is one, he's afraid. He is scared.
Yep.
Once that fear gets put into him on the mound, he can't pitch to certain guys. I mean, he ends up walking the wrong people or getting behind, falling into hitters counts with the wrong people. This guy gave up a home run to the bottom of the lineup catcher who had only 3 home runs coming into the game.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a cheapie, it was a bomb. The first one he gave up was a cheapie, but then he just went and started giving up bombs, and it's just like, come on. Like, but again, he pitches scared. And, like your guy said, you got the message right when we traded for him.
Yeah.
And they said, like, yeah, we were doing things like, don't know about him in the big city, and proved to be pretty spot on. I think with Andrew Heaney, the big thing is he's not made for the bright lights here in New York.
Yeah.
And the kid pitches scared.
Yeah,
so
that
he
was
doesn't get too many more starts.
Yeah, that was the message I got upon him signing. If anybody didn't notice, so I'm pretty sure I said it on one of the podcasts. Was that the concern was this is a 10-year Angels guy, so he's been around the Angels for over 10 years now. Obviously knows Heaney well. His biggest concern was that this kid not that he doesn't have potential, he could do decent. His biggest concern is how is he going to handle New York when there's some animosity towards him. How's he going to handle that? And we're kind of seeing it right now that once he gets in a little trouble, you'll see those flashes. I think it was the second inning. The dude had a slider that was stupid good. I mean, you couldn't touch it. It was beautiful. Struck somebody. I forgot who he struck out, but maybe Moncada, but I forgot who it was. But made him look silly. It was like a quick at bat, and you're like, all right, maybe he gets on a little streak now and he gets going. But once he faces a little animosity, once he gets into a little trouble, it's dangerous. And the thing with him is, I always said solo homers are okay, but when you walk guys and give up homers, that's scary. That's when games can get out of reach very quickly.
Yep.
That's when a problem exists, and that's what we see. That's what we seeing with Andrew Heaney right now. And we got a bigger storyline here. So looking at this ball game, watching it again, I'm throwing the highlights on the screen. Let's cut to the end here. Aaron Judge had a hell of a game, right? Aaron Judge had a great game, 2-homer game. He did everything he can to get this team going.
5 RBIs. Let's just not I don't hate to mean to cut you off there, but bro, it wasn't even 2 solo shots for once.
Right. That's
Judge
right.
hit a 3-run shot and then a 2-run shot. Like
what we want him to do, what we expect from Big Aaron Judge. There's a lot on this guy's shoulders, but that's what Yankee fans are expecting. And then the next guy is Big G, Giancarlo Stanton. That man. You guys know, I said it in the chat, fam. You were right there. You saw it. I said, guys, forget it. Game's over. He ain't doing nothing. And boom. And I tweeted it myself. I said, man, I just told my team he ain't doing nothing. And Big G came through. I got to tip my hat. I'll tip my hat to our guy. That's who I'm tipping my hat to. G came through. He hit the big homer. So all love to our boys. They went out there. They played ball. They played ball. They did their thing. They knew the pitcher was getting beat up.
Gallo walked.
Gallo drew the walk.
Gallo had a sneaky good game also. Just shouts out to him. He drove that ball out to center field in his first at-bat. At center field, if we pay attention, all game, the ball was dying in center. 400 feet dead center, the ball was dying. But if you would have got it to right center, like if Gallo would have just pulled one of those, Gallo would have had one also. He had a sneaky good game. A lot of hard contact and then a big walk in the 9th inning.
And then, of course, you have Zach Britton in the 9th inning. And I'm going to one more time, folks. Everybody could see, there's the homer from, Tim Anderson. So Tim Anderson is the walk-off home run. So, Francis, this is when we'll pause, obviously, and forget the highlights and see the emotion of us and talk about Zach Britton and his 3rd blown save for the New York Yankees this year and what the hell he was even doing in that game. But let me look at the inning real quick, and I'm going to read that off. Let me see if I can actually see all plays here. Yes, I can. So, right here.
First guy to ground out and a couple pitches.
Right. So we already know that. We know the ground out. We know 0-2 to Zavala, folks.
0-2 to Zavala, which is the light hitting catcher that I spoke about before, who's batting under 200 and only had 3 home runs on the season coming into this game. He did have a home run in that game, but of course it was against Heaney who left the curveball right there, please put this 20 rows deep. Yep. So you go after this guy. Yes. He gets some 0-2 and ends up falling behind to walking.
And that's what happened in the game. And then the first pitch to Tim Anderson is driven out to right field, and the Yankees lose this game that you really, really cannot lose. But the Yankees end up losing this game. So the big conversation is, and I know you and Joe, I think both of you guys said it. Matter of fact, I was laughing today because I forgot to check the last message that my father sent me yesterday. Actually says, where the hell was Loizaga? That's the last message that I read from him last night. And then you guys also said the same thing, right? Why is Lowe not in this game? And I remember the only thing I said was, I'm scared shitless here. I don't understand this.
Yeah.
And then we kind of all understand why this happened.
It's simple as this. I put out a tweet. You guys can find it. I don't know if it's whatever, but it says I'll never forgive Britain for losing this game. Because and also Boone, because it's a 1-run game. We were down. Heaney gave up 7 freaking runs, bro. Heaney gave up 7 runs, I think, before the 5th inning or something like that. What was it? He gave up 7 runs early, okay? We had scored 3 all on the might of Aaron Judge in his 3-run shot. Brett Gardner comes and hits a home run, makes it 7-4. But it's 7-4, and it rides out all the way to the 9th inning like that. All right, so we're thinking, we had to put up with Kopech and freaking Kimbrel, and then they're going to go right there and give us Liam Hendricks, who's one of the best in the game right now.
Yep.
He comes in and he starts doing what he does best. The thing is that the Yankees happen to have a strength there with the fastballs. And the Yankees did what we've been begging them to do all season. It's just in those moments, see ball, hit ball. Like, don't try to get cute. Don't try to get – if he throws you a fastball, punch the fastball. And that's exactly what they did. First Judge, Gallo walks because after the Judge home run, he's like, damn, let me settle in. I can't give up another home run to Gallo here. Oh, he tries to get too cute, ends up walking Gallo. Big G comes up, throws him a fastball. G kind of times it. Next fastball, they battle very shortly before Giancarlo puts one into the corner. Next thing you know, we're back in the game and up 1 run. From that moment right there, right? I think at this point there was 2 outs. Actually, there was 2 outs. We did all this with 2 outs.
Yep.
But at that moment there, I don't care who was up or what your plan was or whatever. We're up now. Give me Loaisiga. That's what the manager's call should have been. Give me Loaisiga. I need him to get up right now. Tell him to get up quick. Tell him to get up quick, and then have somebody as a backup, not named Zach Britton.
Francis, I got a question for you. Where are the Yankees at right now? Prior to that game, are the Yankees in a wild card? Are the Yankees in the playoffs if the season ended yesterday?
No.
Are the Yankees 5 or 6 or 7 games ahead of anybody to enter the playoffs?
No.
Then why the hell is our manager coached that way consistently?
Well, I mean, besides the fact that he has his head up his ass most of the time, I think they're trying to stuff these guys down our throats. If Chapman wasn't on the IL, he might have been in that game giving it up. I think I said it in the chat last night. I was like, hey, it could have been worse. It could have been Chapman. He would have smiled after it. And then I really would have lost it.
That's true.
Because this is the organization that's running our team. People that value, the money that these guys are being paid over the ability that they have in a current moment. So because Zach Britton, let me tell you guys something. For all of you there that were trying to defend it, like, no, because Zach Britton is an elite, this and that. Shut up.
Yeah, shut up, honestly.
Up.
I got some stats to back all that stuff up, too.
Zach Britton has not been elite this season. So when you start talking about Zach Britton is this, Zach Britton is that, no, you are what your stats and your record and your numbers say you are in that moment. So right now, the Yankees are not a playoff team. If someone comes into me and argues me down and says, the Yankees aren't a playoff team, I can argue till I'm blue in the face. Our record right now says we're not a playoff team.
Right.
Zach Britton's record going into that game last night said that he was not the guy who was supposed to be in that situation.
No,
so
not at all.
Don't give me that. He's in that game. You know why he's in that game? Because he makes $14 million. That's why he's in that game. Because he makes $14 million. He's off the IL now. And they're like, we got to get him in games. He's got to get the time. We got to put him in the right spot. And Boone is afraid of the veterans on the team.
Well, I can actually make it even worse for you if you would like me to do that. This is actually Aaron Boone after the game. But before I jump to that, the White Sox, let me show you something real quick against left-hand hitters. They got about a 20-point difference in slugging percentage against lefties. They got about a 5 to 10-point average difference in lefties. But here's the big one. They got 41 home runs in 1,000 at-bats versus left-handed hitters. 41 home runs in 1,000 at-bats, okay? Against righties, they have about 1,700 more at-bats, 1,800 more at-bats roughly. They got 96 homers overall. So if you go ahead and do the math on that, they hit homers at a much greater pace against left-handers than they do against right-handers. That's one. Two, let me see if I can find this quote for you. This is Aaron Boone talking about Zach Britton. I believe it was after the game or maybe on a show this morning. Back end. Hold on, let me make sure I find the right thing. Okay, so basically here he's saying about Zach Britton. He's going to be in the back end, especially obviously not having Chappie right now. You know this is Boone because, Chappie, he's a moron. Right now out of necessity, but yeah, he's very much in the high leverage mix. But that gets even worse. Hold on. Obviously, he's really important to us. I feel like his last 4 or 5 outings have really started to be better. And even in a couple of those where he's given up runs, it's been a little bit like, man, how did they score there? It's real close to being the Zach Britton where you're on the ground and it's weak contact. Boone added that Britton is close to the point where he's able to command pitches where he wants to. Is that a guy that you put in a game when your team just had the best comeback of the year? You're in the playoff. This is not June. This is August. You're not in the playoffs. This is the guy you go to in a one-run game?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's like they're just foreshadowing what will ultimately probably be the demise again. Like if this doesn't change, then we're most likely looking at a postseason exit where Britton or Chapman or Green and like sell ass on the main stage, and we just got to watch our team get their backs kicked in by the bullpens giving it up. Because if this is what Aaron Boone is kicking to fans after this game, then I don't know what freaking world I'm living in, honestly. Like, what are we doing, Aaron? What are we doing? He's close to being able to command pitches. So
can you believe that?
In a one single solitary freaking run, you bring in the guy who is close to commanding pitches.
That's the manager. That's the manager of this club. Those are quotes directly. So anybody looking to stick up for him here, these are his words, not mine. The New York Times.
They're still going to stick up for him. They're still going to stick up for him because it's okay. They're going to stick up for Aaron Boone because they're in agreement that we should give out participation trophies.
Well, let me read this. This is the part after. This is how the Daily News responds. But the numbers are different from the past. Britain has the lowest strikeout rate, 17.6%, and the highest walk rate, 16% of his career. The sinker baller also has, for you morons who are sitting there saying, well, he's a ground ball guy. The sinker baller also has the highest fly ball rate and line drive rate of his 11 years in the big club. He is also getting the fewest percentage of swings and misses in his career, meaning that as of right now and as of yesterday, Zach Britton, folks, was not elite. He is not elite. So don't give me the shit about a few years ago or who the guy is. That's not the case here.
No. And let me add one very, very, very important statistic that Mr. Manfred and the rest of Major League Baseball doesn't want us to add. Britton's numbers are this bad with the dead baseball. So don't give me that. Don't give me that elite stuff because I see every Tom, Dick, and Harry who can't pitch to save their life striking people out and getting deep in the games and dominating guys because the freaking baseball is deader than freaking I don't know what. And even still, Britton can't induce a ground ball there. Yeah. He's a ground ball guy. You know, with that sinker, that bowling ball sinker. Yeah, that bowling ball that got put 20 rows deep into the corn.
Yep.
20 rows into the corn.
And my man just walks off on it.
They let the fireworks go off and the ball hadn't landed yet.
Facts.
Like, what are we talking about? I don't want to hear that. Like, I don't want to hear Aaron Boone being able to sit in front of the media and tell them, yeah, I brought in a guy who was close to commanding pitches.
Can you believe that? This is the manager of the Yankees. This is the manager of the Yankees.
That's my thing. Is like, of course he's the manager because if the fans are stupid enough to carry themselves the way that they do on Twitter, walking around and telling people, well, Zach Britton is elite. At what point do we blame the players? Oh, I'll tell you when we blame the players. Well, like I said in my tweet, if Loaisiga comes into that game and blows that game, I live with it 10 out of 10 times. You know why? Because he's the best freaking option. And if he comes in and blows that game, then I put it on him. I say, you know what? Boone went to the right guy, and the right guy got rocked. And that happens. That's going to happen sometimes. So if Loaisiga comes into that game and gets smacked around and we lose it, I'm mad that we lost. But I'm not as mad as I am right now. The reason that I'm mad right now is because we lost because you put in the wrong guy, not because you put in the right guy and he sucked. Yep. So don't give me that. Oh, at what point is it on the players? Everybody just always wants to blame Boone, but he's not the one out there. Yeah, but he's the one who put Zach Britton in a one-run game.
Yeah. The funniest thing in the world, I swear, he
was a double play ball. I'm so sorry. He was a double play ball away from ending it,
right?
And he throws a pitch up to this guy.
Because you know what? Oh my God! Look at this, folks. He doesn't have command yet, but I'm gonna take that risk because we need him in October. There is no October right now, Aaron. That's the shit that gets me. I'm sick of fans saying
they're planning for a playoff that we don't have a guarantee to yet.
We don't have it yet. We don't have a playoff yet. You trying to get Britton ready for what? For what are you trying to get Britton ready for? I'm confused. This is the shit that gets me, that drives me mad. And I'm like,
for his flight to Punta Cana at the end of September.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, what are you truly thinking here that this is the route to take? And then by all means, I'm just laughing because I read some of the comments that I get, some of the people talking about what is wrong with this the fan base. A lot of the people here sitting there saying, well, you got to remember, I mean, we did score runs off of Lynn and off of Kimbrel, and we beat some of their best relief corps. I mean, that's a win, isn't it? No, it's a loss, you moron. Who cares?
That's
what does
silver,
that do?
That's silver lining. That's silver lining. That's what I told. I think I didn't tweet that out on purpose. I put that out. I put that into our group chat just because it's like, yeah, these are takeaways. Is it a takeaway? Yeah, it's a takeaway. The Yankees scored 8 runs on one of the best teams in the American League. Yes. They knocked out the Cy Young hopeful, the guy who's running away with it for the American League, knocked him out by, what was that, the 5th?
Right.
Knocked him out of the game. All right. So, yeah, that was big, right? But coming into the game, they were like, oh, Lance Lynn has been dominant, the 2 ERA, whatever. And I put out that tweet on the morning of the Field of Dreams game with his pitch usage. And I said, there is no way in hell that a guy who throws 90% fastballs should be able to have success against the New York Yankees lineup.
Yep. Facts.
What happened was a manifestation of something that should have been happening all year. Now, does this mean that that's not something the Yankees could build off of? Oh, that's not. Of course they could build off of this. Of course, they just faced the guy who's most likely going to win the Cy Young and smacked them around.
Yep.
They tagged them a little bit. Okay, so yeah, that's good. Oh, did they battle back against one of the league's most elite closing cores in the game? Yeah. The White Sox have a pretty, vaunted bullpen, and they went and scored those runs against freaking Liam Hendricks, who's the best guy of the bunch. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we were walked off the field.
By a guy that the manager says is not there yet. I mean, again, I'm reading some of his comments. Yet,
but he's there.
I just got a comment, and I'm happy we got it here because I'm not even gonna comment on the actual comment, but I want to talk about this. And this is this mindset of these dumb fans. I swear to God, I hate saying it because I know a lot of you are my followers, and trust me, we love you guys, we really do. But the heat of the moment, you get a little angry, don't you? Here's a comment towards me when I said about the losing mentality that's being developed on this club. This guy writes, "No one likes to lose. I agree with your takes, but this one's lazy. No one likes losing. It's trying to lose or is okay with losing because they will get a participation trophy." He says the new age folks are actually better at looking at the larger picture. There is no larger picture.
And that's
when it comes to baseball, and that is the problem.
They're trying to convince you.
You are not 10 games ahead. You are not 10 games ahead. At this point in August, when you're not in the playoff picture, it is literally day to day. You do not have, I need to get this dude ready because guess what? Come the bigger games, there is no bigger game. There is no bigger game.
That's the problem with the Yankees. It's the same thing. It's been like this for years, constantly overlooking opponents, looking ahead, literally looking right over the tops of the heads of opponents that are right in front of them, and you're getting beat by them. This is how Tampa Bay got to where they are today because we spent years looking over them and keep saying, oh, it's Tampa Bay. They're not a big deal. Oh, it's Tampa Bay. Oh, it's Tampa Bay. Oh, it's Tampa Bay. Oh, it's Tampa Bay until they're eliminating you from the playoffs and going all the way to the World Series. Yeah, now what? You kept overlooking them until all of a sudden you couldn't overlook them anymore. They were looking over you. It's not about that. It's not about planning for games in October when it's freaking August and you're still out of the wild card picture.
And Francis, am I a little nuts here? Because if I'm a fan and I sit here and my optimism is, well, at least we hit. Is that not being okay with losing? I'm a little confused.
I think once you say at least, it's like, yeah, you're kind of okay with the situation. And don't get me wrong. Like, there's some losses where I will hit you with an at least. Like, if we face like some elite pitcher or whatever, and we find a way to scratch out a couple runs and guys look like they had a good game and it's a close game that we lose or whatever, I might say, hey, at least this guy didn't shut us out. He didn't no-hit us or whatever. Like, yeah, the guy showed up. It just wasn't our day. This game, this Field of Dreams game, there was no at least about this game.
None at all.
There was no at least.
No, right? None at all.
We won this freaking game.
100%.
Okay? We literally came back and won this freaking game, and Zach Britton gave it back to them in a solid gold gift basket in the form of a sinker.
Yep.
Don't tell me at least. At least nothing. At least nothing. If Jonathan Loáisiga was in there, then we could talk about at least. At least Boone made the right call and put the right guy in there, but he didn't. So there is no at least. Okay. There's, like I said, are there takeaways? Of course, there's takeaways. I just named them. But we're not gonna sit here and say, well, at least they scored 8 runs. Who gives a damn? We lost.
Doesn't matter.
And we lost on the national stage. Literally, like now everybody in the entire country got to see firsthand what the Yankees have been doing all season.
Right.
So shouts out to you fans who watched the Field of Dreams game and were sitting there like, damn, that's a heartbreaking loss. We've been watching this all year.
All year, so feel bad for us.
We've been watching this all year.
I've been having to get on here and talk about mistakes that this manager continues to make all the time, and everybody finds a way to say, it's okay, it's not a big deal. So I'm sorry. If you are sitting there just saying, I'm going to refer back to Derek Jeter again. I wrote a tweet about it today. Derek Jeter, the dude on that show, whatever the hell show it was, tried to get Derek Jeter to admit, is it better to lose a certain way? He went over everything. He went over the fact of, would you rather not make the playoffs and lose? Would you rather get to the last game of the World Series and lose knowing that you got that far? Jeter said flat out, no, a loss is a loss. You lost. That's all there is to it. So I don't know if it's a new age. Maybe I'm wrong saying new age Yankee fan because, Joe on our team's a new age Yankee fan. He's like me. He's like you. He gets wild up about these wins. So maybe that's the wrong terminology for me to use. No, and it's not just a new age fan.
No, it's the woke Yankee fans. That's the problem.
Well, maybe that's the route. That's the right way to go.
I think it's the woke fans, and don't make this a political thing because there's nothing. We are talking baseball here, so
right.
Please do not do that. But I would hazard to call them the woke Yankee fans who think that they know enough about the analytics and that they want to look at the big picture and all this whatever. Yeah, you're so woke. You've been woke for so damn long. What you need to go do is take a nap because you're starting to talk like nonsense. When you start talking about, but you got to look at the bigger picture, got to get Britain ready for October or whatever, when the team is not even in the wild card picture, you've been up too long. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Those of us who are sleeping, like normal people, can tell you that the Yankees don't even have the second wild card spot. Yes, we are close. And yes, within the next couple of days, we could leapfrog Boston and be right there. But guess what? We still have a series against Boston to play.
Oh, we still got 2 games against a very good White Sox team. Also,
2 games against the White Sox to play here, right? Which the Yankees need to win this series, and because they just lost the other game in heartbreaking fashion, now they need to beat the White Sox in 2 straight games.
And I will also add to that. Let's see how this team bounce back from this loss. Let's see that before we're quick to just write this loss off as just another L. Let's see how they bounce back.
And if they don't hit in Saturday's game, which by the time you guys are hearing this, we already know what happened in that game. But we're recording this before Saturday's game, and if they don't hit in Saturday's game, I'll tell you right now, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing to me when you come out and you have a performance like the Yankees did at the Field of Dreams game, and you go the distance, literally like freaking pound for pound heavyweight battle, and you get to round 12 and you get that knockdown, and your pitcher lets the son of a bitch get back up. It's hard. It's hard, even with the day off, to travel back to Chicago and whatever. It's hard. It's hard. You can't tell me, and this is why, I love having a guy like Anthony Rizzo on the team right now, because I feel like Rizzo is the perfect guy who I want in the clubhouse in a moment like this, with a loss like this, because he can get the guys' heads right on and say, listen, we are not in the position to allow this to keep us down. We need to show up on Saturday. We need to show up on Sunday, take both of those games, pack it up, take it to Boston, and do what we got to do. We don't got no time to be playing around with these guys. But he's not, because he's got COVID, and it's practically like having the cooties, so he's nowhere to be found. So we're right now hoping that somebody else in that clubhouse stood up and said something, but I doubt it. I just think everybody stood quiet, or while DJ Aaron Judge played some music, if he did, because I'm pretty sure he might have been pissed. He was the last Yankee that they showed right after the walk-off, which just pissed me. I mean, if you talk about getting peeved, bro. Tim Anderson is circling the bases. They start blowing fireworks off. They drop the lighting in the place, and they just pan to Aaron Judge walking off the field. I could have cried for that man.
Yeah, he gave it his all.
I could have cried for that man. The look on his face, and I've seen this look on Judge's face too many freaking times.
Yep.
Where it's just damn, bro, what do I have to do?
Yep.
What do I have to do?
That's right.
In 2017 and it's like. Here at the Field of Dreams game, it's what do I have to freaking do?
Yep. And
5 RBIs, 2 home runs. Imagine that.
Yeah.
We've been clamoring for this all year.
Yeah, we finally get it. It was a great game for our offense.
And we got it, and it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. Well, because, I mean, Boone added that he thinks Britton is close to the point where he's commanding his pitches the way he wants. But, in a 1-run game, August, we're not even in the playoffs. I feel this is a perfect time to try to get him going. That's where we are. That's the reason. That's the reason why.
What was crazy to me is I felt like, damn, like we're playing this smart. Like we're setting it up to get to a point where if we get back in this game, we can go to Loaisiga. Because, after Heaney comes out, I mean, we went to Wandy, went to Joely. Like we were playing really well. Like we went from the lefty to the other lefty. Wandy looked really freaking
He looked
good.
excellent. He did.
Really freaking good.
I've seen Wandy last night.
And we cannot understate that enough. Listen, Wandy came over here, had some shaky outings. As of late, he's been pretty effective. So I will definitely give him his credit. And in this game, like he looked really good. And that is no easy feat. The White Sox, it wasn't 1 inning. He gave us 2 innings of work. So, and I think he faced more than 6. I think he faced like 7 batters. Facing 7 White Sox hitters is a freaking gauntlet. It's like facing our lineup at full strength. Like it's not easy. Those aren't going to be easy at bats. Yes, there might be strikeout guys in the lineup, but those same guys that are susceptible to the strikeouts are also liable to put your fastball 20 rows deep, like I always say. Facts. So you gotta be on. Wandy looked good. Joely looked good.
Yep.
I don't know where we went wrong. I really thought we were setting up to go to Loaisiga, and
it's funny because somebody messaged me and they said, well, Pete, what happens if he gets those outs? Good. You know what I mean? Good. What happens if he gets the out? The Yankees win the game and we're all happy.
But I still probably tweet out, yeah, man, I don't like Britton there, but I'm happy we won.
Of course, or I still would have been scared shitless, like I said in our chat. I was terrified when he went to him. But
and that's why I tweeted it right out so that people saw. Like this is we don't do this react after the fact thing or whatever.
No, right.
We're not here at NYY News. One thing I want you guys to know: we're not Monday morning quarterbacks. That is not what we're doing. 90% of the time, if we come out here like bashing a move or something, it's because we literally telegraphed it before it happened. Like,
right.
If Boone does this, we're probably going to lose this game. And this is what's so upsetting. That if I'm a fan and apparently I don't know anything, because I'm not in the circle of trust. I don't know analytics. I don't know this. I don't know that. How is it that when they show that Zach Britton is up, I immediately go to the chat and I'm like, Zach Britton, sad face. And then Joe is like, yeah, Britton. And I'm just like, where's Lasagna? Yep. Where's Lasagna? Is he dead? Did he miss the flight? Did he miss the bus? Is he lost in the fucking corn maze somewhere? Where is he?
I would like to still know where he is. Do we still know where he is? Does anybody know where he is? Has he been found?
I don't know that I saw him there. I'm starting to get worried.
I'm already worried.
We should put an APB out for him or something. I don't know. Call his mom. Call whoever. Because he was nowhere to be found.
Call that cow that he always tweets out. Somebody call that giant ass hamburger that he calls out.
Listen,
but
just to tell you right now. Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, just to speak on what Ozzie Guillen said. They talked about this game a little bit, right? I watched it today, and Ozzie Jr. as Ozzie, when you're a wild card team like Boston or the Yankees, right? You're trying to get into the division. What is the thing you cannot do? Ozzie said flat out, you cannot go on a losing streak. You cannot, basically, translation, you cannot test shit out and lose any games that is in your grasp of winning in August and September. So that's why I was even more mad about it. Was my man's mentality is no urgency whatsoever. This dude's mentality is, we are fine. We're going to win. We're 10 games up in the division. We're already in the playoffs. I could work with somebody who's not there yet to try to win a game.
The White Sox could have done that, and they didn't.
Why would La Russa do that? Of course Tony wouldn't. I mean, even Cairo. Cairo wouldn't do that.
But that's my thing is like, that's the mentality there. The White Sox are up 10 games in their division, and they were leading us 7-4.
They got to make an example. That's what it is.
And they still was like, nope, we are not taking our foot off the gas.
Of course not.
Kopech, we are going Kimbrel, and we are going Liam Hendricks. They are getting the gauntlet of our best freaking bullpen arms.
It's also like a rare and special game. Why the hell why are you bringing these certain guys in the game for?
Why would you want to lose that game?
Exactly. Like, and why are you so?
Shouldn't Johnny have been in that game just off the fact, the mere fact that he wasn't even an all-star? He didn't get the chance to like showcase his stuff nationally there. Like,
it'll never make sense to me. I mean, I could honestly probably sit here and talk about this damn game and this mindset all day long, but I can't. You know, one other story I want to bring up is Luis Severino was supposed to start today. He was scratched because he said he does not feel right. So they let him, I guess, you know, well, let's not throw you out there today if you don't feel right. So there is no confirmation if it's a shoulder thing, if it's an elbow thing, but there is confirmation that Luis Severino did not want to pitch tonight because he didn't feel right. And in a minor league game, guys, I don't think that's like, you know, I'm not throwing well, or I got diarrhea, or I got a sore throat. That to me says something's bothering me. And I don't want to risk throwing because in the minor leagues, the results don't matter. So it's not like I didn't feel like pitching today. My, you know, common sense kicks in and goes, there got to be something else there. Something had to be irritating them.
It's not good news. It's not what you want, like Girardi would say.
I missed that. Can we at least get that at the end of a game? You know, this game wasn't what we wanted.
No, that's the reason they got rid.
I respect that more.
One of the biggest reasons they got rid of him is that he doesn't know how to talk to the media. Why? Because he told the truth. Because after a loss, he'd be pissed and he didn't want to answer anything. Yeah. You know what? Let me tell you something. As a fan,
I respect that.
I used to respect the shit out of it. Like, Facts. Oh man, look, Girardi doesn't want to be here right now. Look at how pissed he is. He's so mad that Dylan Betances blew this fucking game. I used to sit there and be like, look at him. He is gonna rip Dylan's. Like he can't wait to get from in front of these cameras right now. And I used to like it. And no, they said no. People don't respond well to that. We have to get a player's whisperer. We need a guy who's gonna come in and he's gonna pat guys on the back. He's gonna go up to Zach after blowing that game and say, "Hey Zach, do you want a popsicle? Do you want a popsicle? Because let's go to the freezer. Let's grab a popsicle. Let's have a talk. I want to talk about your pitching there because I really liked your stuff, and I think you're turning the corner. And I know you're close to commanding your ball where you want it to go. I know you're close. So let's go talk about it." That's what they want. So they got rid of Girardi, and this is what we have now. We have a pre-K teacher managing the New York Yankees.
Did you say popsicle, or did I hear that right?
No, a popsicle.
Popsicle.
That's what we got. Yeah.
I thought about Herbert the pervert from Family Guy when he said, "Hey kids, you like popsicles?" Oh man, fam, I don't know, man. It is what it is. I'll be honest.
We gotta hope on this Sevy thing. We really gotta hope that this ain't that bad.
We definitely do. I didn't have that comment. That's the crazy thing. Like during my psycho rant last night, I didn't even have that Daily News comment that Boone added that he thinks Britton is close. I mean, if that doesn't confirm everything that I've said, that I've been trying to push to people to say there's something obviously wrong here, that this guy, the urgency and everything else is just bad. I mean, that right there, for the most optimistic fan, you have to read that and kind of question marks pop up everywhere. I mean, that's why I said, where are these beat reporters at? Because my first question there is, then boom, why would you use him in a 1-1 game in August? There's not a better time for you to use him?
He just doesn't understand. He's like, close to commanding pitches, close ball game. Maybe if I build it, he'll blow the save. If I build it, he'll blow the save. Yes, that's what it's about. Freaking cornhead boy. That's what it's about.
Cornhead boy.
And this
kindness corns.
This is why we lost. At least they probably went home with corn trophies. So
I tell you what they did. They painted them. They made kindness corns.
That's what they.
Yeah, they painted little faces on them, little smiley faces. Kindness
corns.
Corns.
This is absolutely ridiculous, and I can't believe that we're forced to watch this garbage for an entire season. Like, listen, it's like, what is it that we've done as Yankee fans to not deserve to be happy? Like, we finally freaking make some trades. We change the look of the team. Right. Oh my God, we got Anthony Rizzo, we got Gallo.
Yeah,
we're winning games. We're doing good. Yeah, well, COVID is coming for Cole and Monty. Oh man, they got Cole and Monty. Well, it's all right. We're still winning games. The pitcher's still doing good. We're all right. Well, COVID's coming for Rizzo.
Yep.
All right.
It's just one after the other.
But we got the Field of Dreams game coming up, and we got a shot at. Well, Heaney's starting the Field of Dreams game.
You know, in that game, right, we probably have the best moment of the year and arguably the worst moment of the year. But that's the Yankee season, right? We get excited, and then we get punched right in the fucking nose. And we're sat down again. It's like, all right, you got up, you back in the fight, and then boom, you drop back down to the mat.
I tell you solemnly, if you want to sum up the 2021 Yankees, it's very simple. The Field of Dreams game was a microcosm.
Yeah, that's right.
Of the 2021 Yankees season.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
An elite pitcher on the mound facing them, they overcome it. A bad pitching outing from them, they overcome it. Bullpen people step in, weren't even here at the beginning of the year, but they're here now. They show up, lock it down. We battle back, take the lead in the top of the ninth. It's game over. Oh, wait, no, it's not. Blown save. The Yankees lose in heartbreaking fashion. That's the 21 New York Yankees. That's the 2021 New York Yankees. That's 100%. Our season.
Couldn't
like
say
I said,
better.
people, if you haven't been watching us all year and you watched the Field of Dreams game, that's what it's been. That's what it's been.
Yep.
All year.
That has been what it's been all year. So Saturday's game, which you guys have already seen what happened, but it's Jameson Taillon versus Dylan Cease. And then on Sunday, it looks like it's going to be Cortez versus Lucas Giolito. So the Yankees got a big task ahead of them. You know, Jameson Taillon has been so damn good, been one of the best pitchers in the league, obviously, over the last two and a half months almost, or 2 months roughly. But you know, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting to see Saturday's game, how the Yankees bounce back from this, what they do, how they come out looking, what the energy looks like, what the energy feels like. But you know, I'm where I'm at, and that's not going to change. I'm not looking. The main thing that I want to get across to people is the mindset that I talk about is just the mindset of a winner. You know what I mean? And I think that's the odd thing that I'm having trouble of maybe not even putting that messaging out, but getting people to understand that I'm not attacking you. I'm not coming at anybody. I'm not attacking anybody. So for these cats who's out there saying, well, we tip our cap to Tim Anderson, why? I'm very confused by that. I really am. Like, I don't get that. Can you imagine Derek Jeter being like, yeah, you know, we blew the game, but if anybody would have beat us, I'm happy it was Tim Anderson and Jeter on the team. Like, and I know it wasn't a player who said it. I understand that. But I see so many people saying, oh, good, at least it was Tim Anderson. Well, what does that mean? What is that? What is that for? Who cares?
This is that nonsense. This is that nonsense that we have to deal with in this generation of Yankee fans, where you have a bunch of people who what matters to you most are your freaking views on your channel and your likes and your retweets on Twitter. And so the way that you can maximize that is by pandering to other fan bases more than your own. So because it's popular to bash the Yankees, we have so-called Yankee fans who spend 85% of their time talking down about other Yankee fans and then and talking up fans of from other fan bases and players from other teams. Like, I have to look at Yankee accounts that salivate over Ohtani and Vladdy Jr. and which these guys are great, don't get me wrong, but why are you sucking them? Like, you have guys on your team. Like, aren't you a Yankee fan? Like, why are you promoting? Like, Vladdy has enough fans in Toronto and Buffalo, wherever the hell Toronto is at this point.
Right. He
has enough fans over there. All right? Trust me. Bo Bichette, he's straight. Like, he got enough followers. Okay? Ohtani definitely has enough.
Oh, everybody. Please, oh, my God.
Trust and believe.
Ohtani got more than anyone.
Trust me, okay? Jeff Passan is the head of his fan club. He doesn't need you. He doesn't need you. But I gotta watch the Yankee fan telling me this or whatever that. And don't get me wrong, bro. You've heard, we've done it on this podcast. We shout out guys when they deserve the shout out. We shout out guys. We've spoken about Tatis. We've spoken about
Facts
Solo.
all the time.
We've spoken about Scherzer.
All the time.
We've talked about all the guys that we wanted in trades that were from other teams that we didn't even get. Ketel Marte, we spoke about him for week after week after week. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't do that, but it's going to another level now, where like we lose to a guy and you got tweets like, yeah, hats off to this guy. Hats off to this guy. What are we doing?
Well, we were talking about it. We were joking around the other day. I'm not going to mention who it was, but somebody has 1.1 million followers, and the assumption is that this person's homeless. And we were kind of like, that kind of sums up a lot of what this generation looks for, and that's clout instead of living your own life and being you. So too many people are very, very scared to be who they are. We're not those people. You know what I mean? We are not those people. So that's why I said, and I'm so happy. Look, man, I see the people following us, and the followings just continue to go up. I think after my live yesterday, the channel added like 32 new subscribers during the live, because I noticed this too. I noticed that I changed it midway through that it was Field of Dreams game live, and I put rant after, but maybe people thought, oh, the game's live, let me see it, and they tuned in and were like, oh, who is this guy? And they listened to what I talk, and maybe they subscribe, because definitely wasn't the regulars that we had in there that subscribed again. So the messaging is getting across. People are understanding where this team, our team, is coming from and what we talk about, and they're getting annoyed by what the other people are out there, the propaganda bullshit they push across, that is like becoming this, it's okay. Like people said, oh, you said participation, but it's not even about what do you call it then when a fan sits there and goes, well, at least we had 7 runs. That's good. That's a participation award. That's what that is. So don't be mad at me for calling out what I'm seeing.
No, we're supposed to be happy. That's the thing. Is it's oh no, but at least this, but at least that. It's like when is that enough though? Like when are you gonna stop with that? Like, is it gonna be the Yankees missed the playoffs and it's like, well, at least we played baseball this year. What? Like, what are you what are we doing?
Yeah,
like,
it's insanity.
Is it not about winning? Like, is it that not what we're here for? Is like, are we not fans who want to see our team win, or do we just want to see them? Because if you just want to see them, then it's like that's where we've gone wrong as fans, and that's where we've enabled what the ownership has been able to peddle to us for the last decade.
Yep.
Right? Because the fans saying some of this stuff are the enablers of what they've been giving us for the last 10 years. Which is correct. You should be happy just looking at these guys.
Yep.
You should be happy just watching the pinstripes. It doesn't matter if they're hoisting the trophy and they're the last team standing at the end of it all. You should just be happy that you get to look at them and call yourself a fan. And yeah, bro, I'm sorry, no. Like,
it doesn't work that way.
That's not what we were. That's not what we were raised on. All right, if you're a Yankee fan from our generation of Yankee fans, like, it's not about just watching them. Like, I don't want to go to freaking Yankee Stadium and sit there and watch the Baltimore Orioles pound my team out. Like,
right.
I don't want to see that. Like, that's not what I want to see. I want to see my team put the whooping on Baltimore, put the whooping on Boston, put the whooping on Houston, put the whooping on Tampa. Like, that's what I want to see. They owe us.
Yep.
This team owes us big time.
That's
all
right.
I say this. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This team literally has forced us as fans to watch us be embarrassed by Houston, then Boston, and now Tampa Bay. Not just embarrassed, but teams that beat us and danced on our grave right after. Playing New York in their locker room while they smoked cigars and act like, yeah, and we had to watch this.
Yep.
We've been watching it year after year after year after year after year. So you'll excuse me if I don't feel like, well, at least they scored 8 runs. That's not good. That's not going to do it. That's not good enough to me. You need to win. You need to win. Because I'm not going to feel vindicated as a fan until we embarrass Houston. And maybe not embarrass Houston, but at least can we eliminate them from the playoffs?
Can we beat them? Exactly. Can we
defeat them? Beat them?
Can we not get eliminated by them again? That would be nice.
Can we beat Boston this year? Because the way that we've played against them so far, yeah, we won one series or whatever, but if you put the whole thing in total, we've been embarrassed by Boston this year. Yep. We've been embarrassed by Boston.
Yep.
I've argued with fans from every other fan base. I've gone back and forth or whatever. The one fan base I have not engaged with is Boston. Why? Because they got it right now.
Yeah.
What can I say? What am I supposed to say to them?
Yep.
They have owned us all year. We could win the last 2 series against them and still wouldn't finish with a winning record against them this year. Not even 500.
Right.
They have owned us this year.
Right.
And that's on the players. So, yeah, you'll excuse me if I don't care that they scored 8 runs in the cornfield.
Yep. So, fam, you guys watched it. You guys saw it. Hopefully, moving forward, we get Anthony Rizzo back. We get these guys back. And, look, we're not sitting here saying that yesterday's game was the end of the season. Nobody's saying that at all. I never said that once, and everybody knows I never said that once. You could go watch the live, watch whatever you want. And it's funny. One guy called me out. Let me tell you this story real quick, right? So I got a comment on it, and the dude goes, for you to believe that Aaron Boone threw this game, you are completely out your mind and you are nuts and you're just doing this to get views. So I write back to him. I go, when did I say that I said he's going to throw it? So somebody in the tweet, in the thing, he sent me it. I actually did say it, right? Because somebody commented, they go, Boone really threw this game. And then later he goes, blew this game, I meant. So I'm reading what he says and I say, yeah, there's no way of denying that he threw the game. It's obvious. Dude literally thought what I meant by that was Aaron Boone's plan was to blow this game and lose this game.
Okay, time out right there. Let me tell you guys something. We don't think Aaron Boone is smart enough to intentionally throw a game. No, I'm sorry. Like, even if he tried, we don't think he could do it.
So this is some of the people that we're dealing with. But look, I love them all. I love every one of them. I mean,
listen, if you follow us, what it is. Yeah, we're gonna engage with you guys. I tell you guys all the time. Even when I disagree with you guys in the comment, I'm gonna engage with you guys. If I think what you're saying is wrong, we could go back and forth. But the one thing that I'm not gonna tolerate is this. You people, and you know who you are, the ones of you that are out there caping for these other teams and these other players and then trying to get mad at the rest of us when we're like, yo, why are you doing that? You're the scum of this fan base.
Right, 100%.
You are the scum of this fan base.
And
you
those
know
are
what?
Those are the cats.
You deserve whatever befalls you for it.
The thing is, those are the cats looking for clout. Those are the cats looking to have other fan bases welcome them in. That's what that is. I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk about the Yankees, and that's it. I don't give a shit about everybody else. Like somebody's
hold on. That's what I'm saying. So you're the one looking for clout, but they're the ones pandering to other fan bases.
Here's my thing.
Doesn't make sense. That's not how you get the clout. Yeah.
Here's my thing that cracks me up. Right. What am I supposed to do as a fan for Tim Anderson hitting a home run last night? What am I supposed to? Should he become my new favorite ball player and don't play for the Yankees? I don't get it.
I think you were supposed to buy a jersey.
He just walked off on my club on a decision I knew my manager shouldn't have made. He walks off and swagger as swagger can get. Cool. That's awesome. Good job on him. But he walks off on my club. Am I supposed to join the Tim Anderson fan club? Am I supposed to tip my cap? No. No real Yankee fan is out there saying, well, since we lost, I'm happy it was you, Tim Anderson. This ain't the mafia. When you get killed by your best friend and go, well, look, Jimmy, I'm happy it was you, bro. And I know it's only business. This ain't that. This is a game that we play. It's a game that we're very serious about. These cats want me to go out there and go and write a tweet. Can you imagine writing that tweet, you, Francis, or me? Well, at least we lost. It came at the hands of Timmy Anderson. What are you trying to get? You know what you're trying to do? I'm going to keep it real for a second. You want to feel good, right? You guys know what you did. You know what you did. You're smart enough to, you know what you did. You wanted everybody to be like, at least it was Timmy Anderson. Would it have been the same way if it was somebody else? I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I don't know. It may have not been somebody else. Maybe if it was Vaughn, you may have not been saying, well, at least it was Vaughn.
No, they would have been upset. They would have said, oh, I can't believe we let Vaughn walk us off.
Yeah, that would have been the comment. Or Zayala, whatever the hell his name is.
Zavala. It matters who walks you off. Bro, if you get walked off, you get walked off. We got walked off by this dude in Detroit whose name I still don't even know.
Right.
All right, this guy is so bad that he drives an Uber like on his off days. Like this, and he walked us off.
Facts.
He put Justin Wilson in a coma. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think I care? Do you think I care
Nobody
who
gives
he
a
is?
shit. Nobody gives a shit.
I don't care.
At the end of the day, do you know what
I like Tim Anderson. I like him.
Of course, me too. I'm not against Timmy.
But guess what? But guess what?
I don't give a shit. He walked off on us.
Last night when he walked off my team, I wanted to smack him.
Right,
I was like, if I was there, I would have ripped off some of the corner right off the stalk and threw it at him.
Threw that shit at him.
Because he beat my team.
Exactly.
Does that make me a sore loser? Probably.
I'm okay with that.
I never said I was a good loser.
I'd rather be a sore loser than a loser who's okay with losing.
Yeah,
I'd be a sore loser all day long, every single day. Every single day, I'll be happy to write on my forehead, sore loser. You better fucking believe it. Because guess what? I am not excited about a team walking off on us in a fucking cornfield in the middle of who God knows what. Ozzie Guillen said it. There was no Latino food around anywhere. He had the best burger of his life, but every house is about 20 miles apart from each other. That's where the Yankees lost the ball game last night, where Aaron Boone still couldn't find his nutsack to go ahead and bring the right guy in because he's too fucking stupid. So let's be real here. So for you fans sitting there saying, oh, Pete, no, you're wrong because, you know, we could sit there and be fans of other players. Nobody's saying you can't be a fan of another player. Hell, I don't even care that you said what you said about him. But guess what? I get my opinion too. And I think that opinion needs to fuck off because it's stupid in my book. In my book, Tim Anderson could go on and be the greatest shortstop this generation has seen. I hope every day he bats against the Yankees, he strikes out looking. That's all I want.
I told you. I don't know if I said it on the air or I said it. I think I said it before we started recording. But I was like, listen, I like Tim Anderson. He's on my fantasy team, and he balled out in the Field of Dreams game. I think I almost had 20 points for the one game. Like, balled out. Do you think I gave a rat's? Like, I don't care. When he's playing against the Yankees, I want him to go 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts on 15 pitches. That's it.
Facts.
That's it.
It's that simple.
As soon as he's not playing against us, like if he's playing against the Mets, I want him to go 5 for 5 with 5 home runs.
Unbelievable, bro. Well, look, fam.
Let me ask you: if you were a betting man, what do you think they find first, Boone's balls or Loaisiga?
Boone's balls. Boone's balls are gone. He's been neutered. There's no doubt in my mind Aaron Boone's been neutered.
Oh, my Lord.
And Aaron Boone is the type of dude that he's walking down the street with his wife. A guy comes up to her, slaps her on the ass, and Aaron Boone will sit crisscross applesauce and turn the other way. But that, look,
I think he would look at his wife and say, "Why'd you let him do that?"
Aren't you gonna? He'll say, "Babe, are you gonna do something about that?"
You're not gonna say something to him.
You ain't gonna say something. Why'd you let him do that for? How would you do that to me? That would be Aaron Boone. That would be Boone. You know, look.
But if it's Zach Britton or Chapman, he might not say anything because apparently they make too much money for him to say anything about.
I'm telling you, fam, it's complete insanity. So. I mean, guys, look, you guys are always sticking with us. You guys are enjoying the podcast. We're seeing that by the numbers alone and everything. Everybody's followers are going up. My interactions on Twitter have gotten, I feel like every single tweet now is getting like 100+ likes. So, you know, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate everything you do. Again, this is another episode of your favorite podcast. I'm telling you because it is your favorite podcast. Just a couple of schedule updates for you guys.
Oh, facts.
The week of the 28th, so it's Saturday the 28th, that's Sunday, which will be the 29th, we will not be having a show. So there will not be a show on the 29th, just an FYI so you guys know. But next week, we got a very special guest on for you guys, and we will get to that one. We're working on a few other big things, a couple of other big things, actually. I'm not ready yet to announce, but hopefully we can announce those in the next couple of days. And show you guys the trajectory of where this podcast is heading and where we're heading as a whole. But Team NY News is out there. You guys know what we're doing. I feel like I've been talking about the cornfield game for ever since it ended to now. I mean, I was on a podcast. I was on 2 podcasts today. I did a live last night. I was even going to make a video, and I was like, nah, I can't make a video. And then we're doing the podcast, this podcast today, of course. But I just want to say I appreciate you guys. I really do. I appreciate all the follows you guys are doing, all the sharing you're doing. Keep doing it, man, because that is the best way to thank us for what we're doing.
Yeah, it's a fact, guys. I appreciate, you know, all the interactions, all the followers, everybody, all my new followers that I've gained like since doing this, which is crazy. Like it's blowing up so fast.
Yep.
Can't even keep up most of the time, but yeah, man, this is fun. At the end of the day, this is therapy for me, man. Like I come on here and I speak in a way passionately about my team in a way that I probably can't speak like in most other places. So
right. Yeah, man, you guys, trust me, guys. When you see me, a lot of you hopefully we'll do like a get together if all this COVID stuff passes eventually, and we can actually go out and meet each other and see each other. You know, a lot of you guys getting around with Simonetti. I'm not. Years ago, I would have been happy to rant every single day. I don't enjoy rants. So when you guys see me that hype and that angry, it's not because I want views. It's not because I'm like, oh, rant time. Come check me out, guys. It's because I'm literally hot, and I know a lot of you feel the same way. So It's a time where I could kind of be secluded and get it out of my own system. Instead of being down or upset throughout the night, I can even laugh at myself later because I do. Sometimes at night, right? I'm getting food ready for the cat. We're walking the dogs. I'm getting things done in the house, cleaning the kitchen. I'll put the rant on and literally I laugh at myself. I crack up laughing about myself. I'm like, oh my God, I really went there? Like, it's so stupid. Boon, bitch, and shit like that. I'm cracking up laughing about some of the stuff I'm saying. But it's in the moment. And let me tell you, folks, that's why this podcast is what it is. Because one thing it is it's real. It's 150% real and real emotion. That's why Yankee fans love it, and they're going to keep loving it, and they're going to keep loving NY News because we are only going one place, and that is all the way to the top.
That is a fact. You guys already know, man. We keep it real, and we're going to keep doing it. The designated Spittaz always spitting those facts.
Always spitting the facts. So, Francis, take us out real quick. What is that?
Right. Y'all already know, man. The next episode is the best episode, so don't miss it.
Facts. So, I got one more thing for you guys. Get out of here. See you guys next time.